Chapter 145. I arranged a place for Miss Moo to stay in the small mansion. But she would still be framed by Miss Moo from time to time. Miss Moo coveted Miss Moo's outstanding grades, so she simply changed Miss Moo's grades. There are many reports about this on the news, so I won't go into details. Miss Moo kept saying that Miss Moo framed her. But from the Moo family to the Shun family, she was just pretending to be pitiful to gain sympathy. She is really vicious inside. Even if it's tonight, she's still going to be so overbearing and slander Miss Chi-Chi for attacking her. She did it. It's her. Mu Tongxue sat on the floor and pointed at Mu Chi-Chi. Since you still want to deny it, fine. I have a video here. I believe everyone will be interested. With that, Jing Yun took out his phone and played the recorded video for everyone to see. Although the picture quality was not very clear, it was still. Everyone could clearly see Mu Tongshue's slaps landing on her own face. Everyone suddenly realized that Mu Tongxue must have used up all her strength to frame Mu Chi-Chi. At first, I didn't want to expose you because you are just an 18-year-old child. But now that things have come to this, I don't think there is anything to hide anymore. Mu Chi-Chi looked at Sheng Xiao by instinct. He was not around just now. Could it be that he went out because of the video? All right. Grandpa Shen felt that it was enough when he heard that. So he said, the truth is clear. Let's not talk about their identities first. Mu Tongxue framed Mu Chi-Chi. The evidence is conclusive. Now let's talk about their identities. Mu Chi-Chi is a Shun. That is indisputable. But Miss Mu. Grandpa, I am a Shun. I am a Shun. Mu Tongxue quickly went up and tried to hug Grandpa Shen's leg. But Grandpa Shen kicked her away. When you first came to the Shun family, I was very curious about who you are like. But I couldn't find the answer. And during the time you entered the Shun family, you were repeatedly called to the police station. Because of your mother's death, you were subjected to a lot of investigations and were accused by your father. At that time, I didn't think much of it. The Mu family said that you were the mastermind of the fire. I didn't believe them because I thought that an 18-year-old child couldn't be so evil. But now, I'm starting to believe it. What did Chi-Chi do to you that you would frame her like this? Mu Tongxue was sprawled on the ground, allowing the others to laugh at her. Oh my God! How cruel is this girl to kill her grandmother, frame her sister, and plot against her own mother. That's right. Isn't such a person a little too terrifying? Hearing the discussions around her, Mu Tongxue struggled and finally stood up. She looked at Third Aunt with hope in her eyes. Third Aunt, say something for me. Say something for me. I never thought that you are not a member of the Shun family. It was obvious that Third Aunt retreated. Am I worthless just because I am not a member of the Shun family? Mu Tongxue retorted. Can you trample on me just because I am not a member of the Shun family? But Third Aunt ignored her. She walked up to Mu Chi-Chi and said apologetically, Chi-Chi, I'm sorry. I didn't get it right. It's all because of this little girl. Please don't take it to heart. Didn't Third Aunt say that I was being ridiculous just now? Mu Chi-Chi did not appreciate it. I'm just being silly. You are not silly. You are smarter than anyone else. You know that I am not easy to control, so you tried to suck up to Mu Tongxue. It's because you never thought that Mu Tongxue is not a member of the Shun family. Mu Chi-Chi smiled at Third Aunt. Am I right? Humph. Second Aunt sneered when she saw that. Since this girl is not a member of the Shun family, there is no need to keep her in the Shun family. After all, this night belongs to Chi-Chi. I'm afraid that the others who are not involved will be kicked out. Mu Tongxue quickly waved her hand when she heard what Second Aunt said. Don't kick me out. I have nowhere to go. But you are not a member of the Shun family. Mu Tongxue panicked. She quickly knelt down in front of Mu Chi-Chi. Sister, please beg everyone. Please let me stay. I don't want to go out and suffer. I have nothing now. Mu Chi-Chi stood still. After a while, she lowered her head and said to Mu Tongxue, you are not a member of the Shun family. Just treat me as one. I can be a servant. As long as you let me stay, I can do anything. Instead of begging me here, why don't you go back and beg Grandpa Mu? Maybe he will take you in because you are related by blood. Mu Chi-Chi pinched her chin and said coldly, Mu Tongxue, everything that happened today is your own doing. You can't blame anyone. Although the law will not let you be responsible for mommy's death, you will have to pay for what you did today. Of course, Mu Qiqi whispered the last sentence into Mu Tongshue's ear, so no one could hear her. Throw her out. Grandpa Shun could not stand Mu Tongshue's drama anymore, so he gave the order to the Shuns. The Shuns were happy to see it happen, especially second aunt. Mu Tongxue had been so arrogant for so many days. Now it turned out that she was not a member of the Shun family. She felt embarrassed for her. However, what was even funnier was that her third sister-in-law had fawned over the wrong person. It was the biggest joke in the world, and she was on Mu Qiqi's side for that reason alone. He had actually helped her get rid of such a huge resentment. It was simply delightful. Don't touch me. Mu Tongxue was still struggling. Sister, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Please forgive me. Not only that, Mu Tongxue kept kowtowing to Mu Qiqi. Don't try to hurt yourself in front of me. You should know that even if you die here, I will not feel sad for you. Mu Tongxue stopped when she heard that. Then she staggered and stood up. She decided to risk it all. You did it on purpose, didn't you? You did it on purpose to embarrass me. You knew that I am not a member of the Shun family, didn't you? Mu Qiqi, you are so calculative. You are so cruel. I want to applaud you. I even suspect that you deliberately let me know that I am a member of the Shun family. So, you cut off my contact with the Mu family. You want me to lose everything, right? You think too highly of yourself. Ha 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 ha. What wealth? What rich? What young lady? She was just a fleeting cloud at this moment. Not only that, many people were looking at her mockingly. What are you looking at? What is there to look at? Believe it or not, I will dig out all your eyeballs. Mu Qiqi, you have your wish fulfilled. From now on it is my turn to beg. But I do not regret slandering you for killing Grandma. Because you are a bitch. Chapter 146. Qiqi, there are many guests today. Don't overdo it. Grandpa Shun reminded Mu Qiqi. He did not want her to be too ruthless and cause misunderstandings. Grandpa, Mu Tongxue has admitted that she slandered me for killing Grandma. It's a human life. Mu Qiqi raised her head and looked at Grandpa Shun in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. She said, it's understandable that she wants to curry favor with someone powerful and join a prestigious family. She's framing others and scheming against others. She's not vicious. What's truly vicious is that she killed her own mother with her own hands. I'm sorry. I might not be able to leave a good impression on the Shin family, Mu Qiqi said to Grandpa Shun. She was also talking to Sheng Xiao. Grandpa Shun looked at Mu Qiqi with a complicated expression. He did not expect that Mu Qiqi hated Mu Tongxue so much. What do you want? I want to bring her somewhere. So, I might have to let everyone down. I also feel sorry for the guests. Mu Qiqi bowed deeply to everyone. Grandpa Shun thought for a few seconds. Then he said, go. We are the Shun family. We should settle our grudges. Mu Qiqi got his permission. Then, she dragged Mu Tongxue out of the living room. Sheng Xiao glanced at Jing Yun and signaled him to follow them. Mu Tongxue kept struggling, but she was used to being weak. So, she could not get rid of Mu Qiqi's control. Mu Qiqi brought her to the car. Jing Yun followed behind and started the car. The noisy living room suddenly became quiet. Some people understood what was going on, while others didn't understand what was going on. Third aunt sneered. She looked at Grandpa Shun and said, Father, stop pretending. You knew about this long ago, didn't you? Grandpa Shun looked at his daughter-in-law. He did not say anything. You lied to all of us just to let Mu Qiqi marry into the Shun family, right? And you played me like a fool. Speaking of playing you knew that Mu Tongxue slandered Mu Qiqi, but you played along with that imposter. Do you think I don't know? The old man was enraged by the interrogation, and he also burned this ball of fire. If your heart is good, who would dare to trick you? Why didn't second brother come to me? Third aunt was stunned for a moment. Her eyes turned red and she was ashamed. Although Qiqi is not here, she is the blood of the Shun family. She is my granddaughter. If it wasn't for your pride, would I have to do this? If I want to recognize my granddaughter, do I need your permission? You have the nerve to question me? Second brother, send the guests home. I'll consider today's ceremony a success. With that, the old man turned and left. Naturally, the old man took a look at where Sheng Xiao had been before he left, but he was gone in the blink of an eye. Third aunt felt wronged. She ignored everyone's advice and went back to her room. Second aunt laughed. I thought I found an ally, but it turns out to be a fake. Second elder leaned on his wife's arm and gestured for her to look at Rong Juanhan's direction. What happened? I hope you won't think too much about it, said second uncle. Mu Qiqi was able to expose Mu Tongxue on such an occasion. Although Mu Tongxue was the one who set her up, the fact that she could easily produce the DNA report showed that Mu Qiqi had already planned to do so, and Grandpa Shen must have acquiesced to it. Didn't Grandpa Shen think about how people would talk about Jianxuan when he did that? Mu Qiqi and Mu Tongxue were twins, but they did not have the same father. How would people talk about it? How would they see Shen Jianxuan? Grandpa Shen was a thoughtful person. It was impossible that he did not think about it. But he still let Mu Qiqi announce it. It showed how much Grandpa Shen cared about his granddaughter. Mu Qiqi was taken care of. But what about her? What would the people outside think of her? How silly she was. Eldest sister, are you okay? Second aunt was worried when she saw Rong Junhan in a daze. Rong Junhan shook her head. Then, she said something that made all the Shuns sad. Father's arrangement today has made me realize how much I've worked for over 10 years. Now I know how much I've gotten in return. Eldest sister. If you still have a conscience, promise me that you will never acknowledge Mu Qiqi's identity in this life. Second aunt saw Rong Juanhan's angry expression. She quickly said, We will do what you want. Don't worry. Don't be nice to her. We promise you. Remember what you said today. Then, Rong Junhan stood up and left the Shen family. Second elder sighed deeply. From now on, the Shen family will not have peace. Eldest sister will not allow us to acknowledge Mu Qiqi's identity. But father, we are indebted to eldest sister-in-law, and we have been friends for so many years. So we should stand by eldest sister-in-law's side. Otherwise, wouldn't eldest sister-in-law be too pitiful? Second elder Shen said to his wife. You are right. As for third aunt, she would never forget the humiliation she had suffered because of Mu Qiqi. Of course, it was also because Mu Qiqi never thought of marrying into the Shen family. She never thought of getting along well with the Shen family. Where are you taking me? Mu Tongxue was panicking when she saw that they were getting further away. Mu Qiqi, you are embarrassing the Shen family by doing this. But Mu Qiqi did not care. You don't have to worry about me. Sister, I am already so pitiful. What else do you want me to do? Did you come to see mommy after she died? Mu Qiqi turned around and asked Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue was stunned. I have dreamt of mommy a few times. She was covered in charcoal. She stood in front of me and asked me to forgive you. Mu Tongxue felt a chill down her spine. Go and see mommy. Then, go back to the Mu family and be the daughter of the Mu family again. Mu Tongxue's forehead was sweating when she saw that the surroundings were getting darker, and there were fewer people around. But Mu Qiqi pretended that she did not see anything, until Jing Yun drove the car into the cemetery. Mu Qiqi got out of the car, and dragged Mu Tongxue to her mother's grave. When they reached the tombstone, Mu Qiqi asked, Aren't you going to kneel? Mu Tongxue had no choice but to kneel. If she had lost all her humanity, then Mama Mu's death was the only shadow in her heart. Especially when she saw Mama Mu's photo. She remembered how she looked before she died. Mu Tongxue knelt on the ground with a thud. She could not stop her tears from flowing. Chapter 147. Mu Qiqi and Jing Yin left the graveyard. But they left Mu Tongxue alone in the wilderness. She knelt in front of the tombstone and cried. She did not know when Mu Qiqi and Jing Yin left her. Mu Tongxue turned around and saw no one behind her. Then, she saw the picture on Mother Mu's tombstone. She was scared out of her wits. She quickly ran towards the entrance of the graveyard. But the iron gate was locked. Open the gate. Open the gate. There was nothing more chilling than standing in front of the tombstone of the person you had killed. Mu Tongxue thought of making a phone call. She took out her phone and opened her address book. But who else could she contact now? After all, she was still a member of the Mu family. So she called Grandpa Mu shamelessly. Grandpa Mu had heard the news about the Shen family from someone else. So, he had expected that Mu Tongxue would call him. So he did not answer the call on purpose. He did not answer it until Mu Tongxue had 10 missed calls. Then, he picked up the call calmly. Grandpa. I'm Shuer. Mu Tongxue choked when Grandpa Mu picked up the call. She could not even speak clearly. What's the matter? Grandpa Mu pretended to be distant. Grandpa, can you come and save me? I'm alone in the graveyard. I'm scared. But I'm going to sleep, Grandpa Mu said. Grandpa, I'm a member of the Mu family. I'm your granddaughter. I haven't forgotten how you humiliated me when you thought you were a member of the Shen family. Miss Shen, you should call the Shen family. I'm not as rich and powerful as the Shen family. I can't save you, Grandpa Mu said calmly. Grandpa, I know it's my fault. I'm too naive. I shouldn't have treated you like that. But I didn't mean it. I've been chased out of the Shen family. I'm penniless and locked in the graveyard. I'm really scared. Your father is still alive even though he's locked up in prison. You're just locked up in a cemetery. What's there to be afraid of? Grandpa, I'm begging you. Please save me. Grandpa Mu nodded and said, Okay. You agree? Mu Tongxue was crying tears of joy. She suddenly felt that the graveyard wasn't as scary as before. Just wait. After that, Grandpa Mu hung up the phone. Then, he turned off the lights and closed his eyes to sleep. As for Mu Tongxue, she took Grandpa Mu's words seriously. She really thought that the Mu family would come looking for her. But an hour had passed, and there was no movement outside the iron gate. She was filled with hope, but Grandpa Mu made her feel hopeless. After leaving the cemetery, Mu Qiqi returned to the gates of the Shen's residence. Sheng Zhao's car was still parked there. Mu Qiqi anxiously got down from Jing Yun's car and opened his door, apologizing. Xiao. Have you vented your anger? Sheng Xiao asked, holding his chin. His expression was a little complicated, which made her heart pound. Are you angry? Little one, you're not as obedient as you think. Sheng Xiao replied, I know that I made you and Grandpa very sad tonight. What if I tell you that what you did is not good for our relationship? Mu Qiqi was stunned, but after a few seconds she said, You never put your hope on this kind of thing. Because you like to come up with strategies. Besides, I would rather die than leave you. Who can separate us? When Sheng Xiao heard this, he pinched Mu Qiqi's chin and smiled wickedly. Congratulations on your realization. Aren't you angry? You've vented your anger. Why should I be angry? Sheng Xiao let go of her chin and gestured for her to get down from the car. The Shen family is just a testing ground. I've told you before that you don't need to please anyone. Besides, do you really think that the Shen family will accept you so easily? That's true. They might hate me now. How did you deal with Mu Tongxue? I locked her in the graveyard. Let her repent in front of Mommy's grave. Mu Qiqi replied. She can call for help. Xiao, the Mu family won't care about her. Mu Qiqi replied seriously. You have to know how heartless she was to Grandpa when she thought she was a member of the Shen family. She deserved it. Tonight, Mu Tongxue would wish she was dead. She would be scared half to death. And most importantly, what would Mu Tongxue rely on to live from now on? That was Mu Tongxue's greatest fear. Let's go in and meet Grandpa Sheng. After all, he was willing to let others criticize him because of you. He has done his best. Mu Qiqi nodded. Her eyes were red. I know. I've made things difficult for him tonight. You don't have to take it to heart. Do you think he isn't mentally prepared for this? Let's go in. I might have a way. Mu Qiqi replied. Sheng Xiao stroked Mu Qiqi's head. The little girl seemed to have grown up all of a sudden. She had begun to think independently. Sheng Xiao's heart began to throb. Mu Qiqi's uncontrollable behavior seemed to attract him even more, tugging at his every nerve. What's wrong? Mu Qiqi quickly asked when she saw Sheng Xiao not moving. I'm thinking about what will happen to me if you leave me one day. Sheng Xiao replied. What will happen? You won't have the chance to leave me. On the other hand, if you have me, you will have the whole world. Then, Sheng Xiao got out of the car. Mu Qiqi followed suit. Who could deny that? She would never leave Sheng Xiao. Even if there was seniority and her family stopping her, so what? Grandpa Shen never thought that the two of them would come back. He smiled when he saw Mu Qiqi's guilty look. What's wrong? Do you know that you have lost your sense of propriety? Grandpa, I'm sorry. I've made a mess of the Shin family. Do you think Grandpa cares about that? This is not the only ridiculous thing eldest brother has done. I'm used to it. But even so, I still love him the most. Do you know why? Grandpa Shin asked Mu Chi-Chi in return. Because he understands me the best. Chi-Chi, I hope that you can understand the old man's heart too. Grandpa, I hope you won't disappoint me. However, she was destined to disappoint Grandpa Shin when she was with Sheng Xiao. Just like Suzy Pei, she could do anything for Grandpa Shin. She could fight for any honor for him. But she could not leave Sheng Xiao. She could not do that. As for your uncles, they will like you slowly. So, I hope you can come back to the Shin family once a week. Can you do that? Grandpa, I'll try my best. But I have my own life. Mu Chi-Chi did not promise him everything. Okay. Grandpa Shin nodded. You are just like your father. Although you are a troublemaker, you have your own way of living. The daughter of the Shin family should have a unique charm. The few of them were chatting in the study when second aunt knocked on their door with her phone. She sounded very anxious. Dad, hurry up and open the door. It's urgent. What's the matter? Grandpa Shin shouted at the door. Chapter 148. He's awake. Grandpa Shin's hands were trembling. Let's go now. All right, Jin Yun and I will go there immediately. After that, second aunt's footsteps faded away. Mu Chi-Chi was still having mixed feelings at that moment. Chi-Chi, let's go together. Mu Chi-Chi shook her head and said to Grandpa Shin, Aunt Rong doesn't like me. I will go another day. The situation is too complicated today. When old Master Shin heard that, he did not know what was going on in the hospital. He did not know if Shin Jianchuan could take it, so he nodded. All right, I'll tell you after I go and take a look. You're tired today. Go back and rest. Mu Chi-Chi nodded and exchanged looks with Sheng Xiao. Grandpa Shin's mind was on Shin Jianchuan. He did not notice the expressions on Mu Chi-Chi and Sheng Xiao's faces. The three of them left the Shin family together. But Grandpa Shin was in a hurry to see his son. On the way back, Mu Chi-Chi was silent. She did not know how to accept what had happened. It's too much of a coincidence. Sheng Xiao murmured when he saw Mu Chi-Chi not saying anything. What's too much of a coincidence? Nothing. Let's go to the villa first. I don't want Aunt Rong to worry. Sheng Xiao told Mu Chi-Chi that it was too much of a coincidence. He was referring to the time when Shin Jianchuan woke up. It was too much of a coincidence. It had been more than 10 years, and there was no sign of him waking up. But he woke up on the day when Mu Chi-Chi returned to the Shin family. Xiao, I want to go home. Mu Chi-Chi grabbed Sheng Xiao's arm and begged. Sheng Xiao glanced at her. Then he turned around and drove to the new house. He called Suzy Pei when he reached home. Suzy Pei asked Sheng Xiao to take good care of Mu Chi-Chi. She was not at home now. She was at Lu Wenhua's apartment. Sheng Xiao put his phone away. Then, he put his arm around Mu Chi-Chi's neck and brought her into the house. Mu Chi-Chi hugged Sheng Xiao's arm, unwilling to let go, because she felt that this was the warmest harbor for her. I'm very confused after this incident. I don't know if I should step into the mire of the Shin family. But that's my biological father. It's not easy for him to survive. I don't want him to ostracize me like the others in the Shin family. That's right. Mu Chi-Chi was behaving like that because Mama Mu's death was a huge blow to her. Seeing the people closest to her being burned into charcoal with her own eyes. Of course she felt terrible. Sheng Xiao had his arm around Mu Chi-Chi's neck. At this moment, he raised his hand and pinched her chin. He twisted her chin and made her face him. Even if the Shin family doesn't accept her now, it's just a matter of time. But now that my father is awake, he will marry Auntie Rong sooner or later. When that time comes, my identity will be even more awkward. What are you afraid of? Is there anything scarier than making our relationship public? Sheng Xiao laughed wantonly with a hint of playfulness. Chi-er, you know that I'm here for everything. This is the first time you've called me that. Mu Chi-Chi's chest swelled, and she threw herself into his arms. I like it when you call me that. Sheng Xiao hugged her and comforted the person in his arms. He cupped her cheek and kissed her at the right time. He also sucked on her sensitive earlobe, the earlobe with his name tattooed on it. Don't be like this. What else? Sheng Xiao blew into her ear in a sexy manner. Mu Qiqi's body went soft. She could only surrender. Soon, Sheng Xiao brought Mu Qiqi to the big bed that belonged to the two of them. He put Mu Qiqi down and took off his clothes. Then he threw them in the middle of the room. But when it came to Mu Qiqi, he grabbed Mu Qiqi's black dress and tore it from the center. I like this dress very much. Mu Qiqi quickly protested. But without the cover of the dress, her mature body looked beautiful and attractive. Then, who do you like, me or the dress? Was there a need to ask? Mu Qiqi pouted. But Sheng Xiao sucked her in instantly. His warm hands passed through her body, leaving behind a series of sparks, making her feel empty. Sheng Xiao lowered his head and looked at her blushing face. He chuckled and lifted her chin. Let's let your father know what we're doing now. I wonder how he'll react. Mu Qiqi's face turned red. There was a hint of shock in Mu Qiqi's eyes at once. But Sheng Xiao did not wait for her reaction. He penetrated her directly. Even so, you're the only one I've chosen in this life. No one can stop me. Mu Qiqi's heart sank again. She was the one who started the relationship between her and Sheng Xiao. And she would never be the one to give up on Sheng Xiao. Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao. It was an intense affair. It ended amidst the sweat and moans. At that moment, Mu Qiqi did not have the energy to think about the Shen family or Shen Jianchuan anymore. Just like what Sheng Xiao said, she would deal with whatever came her way. Maybe Rong Junhan had the support of the Shen family, but she had Sheng Xiao and Grandpa. On the other hand, Mu Tongxue stayed in the cemetery for the whole night. The next morning, someone went in and saw her fainted in the cemetery. Then she was sent to the hospital. But at that moment, Mu Tongxue was not sure if she was too frightened. She fell down. There was a cut on her forehead by a tree branch. Her bones were almost exposed. The stitches would leave a permanent scar on her forehead, and she would never be able to recover, unless she kept covering it with her bangs. When she woke up in the hospital, Mu Tongxue was completely lifeless. She just kept her eyes open. She did not know where to go. She did not know what was the meaning of living. Compared to Mu Qiqi's ruthlessness, Grandpa Mu's heartlessness made her completely give up. He gave her hope and made her despair. Perhaps she would never be able to win against Mu Qiqi in this life. She had never won against Mu Qiqi before. It would be even more impossible in the future. And now there was a scar on her forehead. On the other hand, Grandpa Shen and the others were still guarding at the hospital. Shen Jianchuan fell asleep again after he woke up last night. So, Grandpa Shen did not get to see his son. So he stayed at the hospital until 8 o'clock in the morning. Shen Jianchuan opened his eyes. He saw Grandpa Shen looking at him anxiously. He wanted to say something but he could not. He only breathed weakly. Dad. Grandpa Shen wiped his tears and patted him on the arm. It's good that you're awake. It's good that you're awake. Rest well. Don't waste your energy. The doctor said that although you're awake, your body may need a long period of rehabilitation to fully recover. Chapter 149. That's right. Eldest brother, you must get well soon. You still owe eldest sister a wedding. Second elder said to Shen Jianchuan. Shen Jianchuan looked at Rong Junhan and said weakly, Xian. But he could not say the word suffering, because he had been in a coma for a long time. His body still needed a long time to recover. It's good that you are awake. No one mentioned that he had a daughter, because they knew that it was not appropriate to talk about it at this moment. But second aunt was still afraid that Grandpa Shen would say it. So, she dragged him out of the ward and said, Father, the doctor said that eldest brother has been in a coma for a long time. He needs to rest and recover. He should not be agitated. So we don't want to tell eldest brother that Mu Qiqi is his daughter. We will tell him when he is feeling better. Grandpa Sheng looked at his second daughter-in-law deeply, as if he knew what she was planning. Is it that good for you to stop Mu Qiqi from marrying into the Shen family? That's what the doctor said. Second aunt insisted. Grandpa Shen did not answer her, but he did not deny it either. He had his own plan, because he did not think that it was agitating for eldest sister. But now that eldest sister had woken up, the marriage with the Rong family must go ahead. Wouldn't it be more difficult for Mu Qiqi if Rong Junhan married into the Shen family? Grandpa Shen did not want to do that. Why couldn't the granddaughter of the Shen family marry into the Shen family? Mu Qiqi hid in the new house for the whole night. When she woke up in the morning, her mind was much clearer. No matter what was happening in the Shen family, she only had one goal. That was to be with Sheng Xiao. Since she was so determined, why should she be afraid of the Shen family? Moreover, he was her biological father. She did not believe that Shen Jianchuan would humiliate his daughter like Papa Mu. So, she went back to the villa early in the morning. How is it, Qiqi? Don't worry, Aunt Sipei. Mu Tongxue will never be able to make a comeback. Her identity was exposed in public yesterday, Mu Qiqi replied. I locked her in front of Mommy's grave last night. I don't know if she is still alive or not. She deserves it. I'm just worried about your relationship with the Shen family. Aunt, how can the Shen family accept me so easily? I never have such a dream, but there's something I need to tell you. What? Su Zipei looked at Mu Qiqi seriously. Eldest young Master Shen, wake up. Su Zipei understood what Mu Qiqi meant. I didn't expect that young Master Shen could wake up. You have a father now, but I'm afraid that Rong Junhan will not be easy to deal with. Your mother used to be the obstacle between her and young Master Shen. Now that you are involved, she will not tolerate you. Aunt, don't worry too much. I have Xiao Xiao. Mu Qiqi held Su Zipei's hands and comforted her. Now you should go and enjoy your life with Uncle Lu. I won't have much time to spend with you after school starts. Now that you've married into the Shen family, as your aunt, I can't embarrass you. So, I've signed up for a lot of hobbies. I don't care if I'm not interested in finance or shares. But I have to understand them. Otherwise, people will laugh at me when I go out to socialize. A woman's greatest wealth was actually self-improvement. Alright, then we'll work hard together. Aunt, after I'm gone, please keep an eye on Mu Tongxue. You can't let her die. Don't worry. Su Zipei patted Mu Qiqi's head. Take good care of yourself when you go out for the military training. Okay. Mu Qiqi packed up her things and went back to the new house. Although Sheng Xiao would not be at home during the day, she felt more at ease staying in their little home. Everything in this villa was good, but there were no photos of the two of them. Although there was the smell of the two of them living everywhere, she still felt that it was not like a home. After that, Mu Qiqi packed up her clothes. Grandpa Shen called her. Xiaoqi, when are you going for the military training? Tomorrow morning. Listen to my arrangements. Come and meet your father tonight. At least, let him know that he has a daughter. Since it was arranged at night, it meant that the Shen family did not agree to it. So Grandpa Shen planned to arrange the meeting between Mu Qiqi and Shen Jianchuan behind everyone's back. Grandpa, we still have a chance in the future. Some things should be done as soon as possible. Grandpa Shen was anxious. After all, Rong Junhan was the one taking care of Shen Jianchuan most of the time when he woke up. Alright. Mu Qiqi nodded, because she wanted to give herself hope. Then I'll call you tonight. After that, Grandpa Shen hung up the phone. Mu Qiqi was deep in thought. Then she texted Sheng Xiao. Grandpa asked me to go to the hospital tonight. Secretly meet your father. Yes. Because the Shen family might not be happy about it. Do you need to care about their feelings? Sheng Xiao asked. Just go if you want to. Don't worry about the time. You are Brother Shen's biological daughter. Will Rong Junhan stop you? But you can't please this person, Sheng Xiao said. Then he asked Mu Qiqi. Do you want to go? Yes. After all, he was her biological father. He was afraid that Rong Junhan would be the second Mu Tongxue. So, she would talk bad about her before Shen Jianchuan even met her. Then just go. You are my daughter. Why should I be afraid? You don't have anything to do with the Shen family. So you don't have to be afraid. Go. I'll come and pick you up after I'm done with my work. You will go to the military training tomorrow. I'll bring you out for a feast tonight. Okay. Mu Qiqi thought about it. Xiao Xiao was right. Her uncles were trying to stop her. But she did not need to be afraid. So she called Grandpa Shen. Grandpa, I'm coming now. Okay. I'll arrange it. Grandpa Shen agreed. After the call, Grandpa Shen went back to the ward. He sat beside Shen Jianchuan. He grabbed his eldest son's hand and asked, Eldest son, do you know that you have a daughter? Father, are you confused? What are you talking about? Second aunt was stunned. She quickly stopped Grandpa Shen, because her main purpose of staying in the hospital was to prevent Grandpa Shen from telling others about it. But Grandpa Shen looked at her coldly. Why don't you change your surname to Rong? What do you think? Father, didn't we agree? I didn't agree with you too. I just want to tell eldest son about it. Do you know that you have a daughter? Shen Jianchuan was stunned. He shook his head. Su Ziqing is your daughter. She has been raised by the Mu family for 18 years. But your brothers are afraid that your sister-in-law will be unhappy. So, they did not want to tell you about it. Chapter 150. Shen Jianchuan was as thin as a stick. When he woke up, only his eyes were full of life. He could not express his feelings after hearing what Grandpa Shen said. But he nodded his head. He had been sleeping alone for more than 10 years. He had spent the best part of his youth on the bed. He had missed so many things. But he still had a daughter. That was the only comfort he had. How could he not want to see her? Grandpa Shen knew that he wanted to see her. He patted his knee and nodded. I will let you see her later. Father. Second aunt was very worried. She called Rong Junhan while they were talking. Rong Junhan knew that she could not stop Grandpa Shen. After all, she was Shen Jianchuan's daughter. What she needed to do now was not to stop him, but to register their marriage as soon as possible. Huang Yu Mu Qiqi is Jianchuan's daughter. He has the right to know about this. Won't you feel wronged? Second aunt was helpless. Jianchuan has woken up. Then, I will not feel wronged anymore. Rong Juanhan's words would only make the Shen family sympathize with her more. So they would try their best to stop Mu Qiqi from marrying into the Shen family. Rong Junhan knew that would happen. But, she still wanted to go to the hospital to see Mu Qiqi meet Shen Jianchuan. Only then she would feel relieved. When she married into the Shen family, she would control her daughter. Then she would have the right to do so. Mu Qiqi wanted to meet Shen Jianchuan. So, Sheng Xiao asked Old Lin to send Mu Qiqi and Su Zipei to the hospital. Su Zipei was worried that Mu Qiqi would be bullied. But Mu Qiqi patted her hand and said, Aunt, don't worry. I am not the old Mu Qiqi now. I will not let anyone bully me. Su Zipei was still worried. But she did not stop Mu Qiqi. The two of them arrived at the hospital together. Mu Qiqi managed to find Shen Jianchuan's ward from the front desk. But when she entered the elevator, she bumped into Rong Junhan. Mu Qiqi was stunned. But she still entered the elevator with Su Zipei. Aunt Rong, didn't you say that you will not return to the Shen family? Now that Jianchuan has just woken up, he's in a hurry to visit him. Then the elevator reached the 9th floor. Rong Junhan walked out of the elevator first, followed by Mu Qiqi and Su Zipei. Second aunt was at the door of the ward. When she saw Rong Junhan, she went up to her immediately. Sister-in-law. Mu Qiqi was right behind them, but Huang Yu stopped her. Qiqi, you can go in later. Why? Mu Qiqi asked second aunt. Huang Yu was afraid that Grandpa Sheng would hear them, so she quickly pulled Mu Qiqi to the side and explained to her. Actually, the doctor said that your father has just woken up and needs to rest. He can't be too agitated. So, can you come over another day? When your father feels better. Mu Qiqi looked at Huang Yu with deep eyes and a smile. Second aunt is not like third aunt. When you tell such a lie, your expression is unnatural. Huang Yu was stunned. I know that you are fighting for Auntie Rong. But as an elder, is it right for you to make things difficult for a junior? Moreover, this is my family's matter. It has nothing to do with you. But sister-in-law has worked hard for the Shen family all these years. If it were you, what would you do? You can go ahead. I will go in. Mu Qiqi pushed second aunt's arm away. Second aunt, please know your place. Shen Jianchuan is my father. It's only right for a daughter to visit her father. But he doesn't want to see you. Really? Mu Qiqi sneered. She wanted to force her way in. Whether he wants to see me or not, he will know after he goes in. You can't go in. Mu Qiqi knew that Huang Yu was purposely making things difficult for her. So she did not want to give her face. She took out the recording pen that Sheng Xiao gave her. I don't want to make things difficult for you. Don't make things difficult for me too. If Grandpa hears this recording, how would he feel? Huang Yu's expression changed. But she did not think that she had done anything wrong. You have your position and I have mine. But I don't feel sorry for you. Then let Grandpa listen to it. You. Muchichi snorted and put away the recording pen. When she entered the ward, she turned around and said to Huang Yu, I have always been in awe of the Shen family. After all, it is an aristocratic family. But after seeing you and third aunt, I only have one sentence to say to you. You are nothing more than this. Huang Yu could not stop her. She could only watch Muchichi push the door open. When Grandpa Shen saw his granddaughter, he quickly got up and pulled her to Shen Jianxuan. As if presenting a treasure, he said, Look, it's your daughter. Muchichi looked at the weak man on the bed. The man was very excited. He wanted to raise his hand, but his muscles did not listen to him. Muchichi sat down in front of Shen Jianxuan and held his trembling hands. It was the second time they met, but blood was thicker than water. She could feel Shen Jianxuan's excitement. I don't know what to say. I just hope that you will get better soon. Then, you will know what happened recently. Shen Jianxuan looked at Muchichi and blinked. Don't worry. If you want to see me, just tell Grandpa. He will call me. Shen Jianxuan blinked again. There was even a tear at the corner of his eye. Muchichi wiped it away for him. Then she smiled and said, I am studying forensic science in Shengting University. You can come and find me when you get better. It takes 5 years to study forensic science. Shen Jianxuan wanted to say something, but he could not. He wanted to touch his daughter more. After all, Muchichi and Su Ziqing were very similar. But his hands were trembling. He could not control his muscles. I will go for military training tomorrow. I will come and see you when I am free. You must be able to speak by then, okay? Shen Jianxuan nodded. He nodded many times. He was not so excited even when he saw Grandpa Shen and Rong Junhan when he woke up. Grandpa Shen was very happy. Although his son had been asleep for so many years, the heavens still gave him a daughter. When he heard that he had a daughter, Grandpa Shen could feel that his eldest son's heart was suddenly revived. Although he didn't want to admit it, he knew that his son's favorite woman was still Su Ziqing. This made Rong Junhan even more jealous. After all, she was the one who took care of Shen Jianxuan for the past 10 years. But now, Shen Jianxuan did not even look at her when he had a daughter. How could she be satisfied? Chapter 151. Grandpa, I need to pack my luggage later. I'm leaving now. Shen Jianxuan grabbed Muchichi's hand. He was reluctant to let her go, but Muchichi winked at him, indicating that she would come again when she had time. Shen Jianxuan let go of her hand. Let's go. I'll send you out. It's okay. I'm outside. Muchichi got up and glanced at Shen Jianxuan. Then she left her father's ward. Outside the ward, Su Zipei and Huang Yu seemed to have talked to each other. Both of them looked strange, but Muchichi did not ask. Aunt, let's go. Did you see him? Su Zipei asked. Yes. Muchichi nodded. She deliberately raised her voice. Dad is very happy to see me. He hopes that I can come and see him often. Humph. Huang Yu snorted. That's good. Let's go home. We have to wake up early tomorrow. They walked out of the hospital together. But Muchichi had already received a message from Sheng Xiao. He would be at the hospital soon. Aunt, you and Uncle Lin can leave first. Xiao Xiao will come and pick me up. Okay. Take care of yourself. As long as Sheng Xiao was there, Su Zipei would be at ease. Because he would take good care of Muchichi. He would never let Muchichi be bullied. Muchichi watched Su Zipei leave. Then, she found a secluded place and waited for Sheng Xiao. A moment later, a black Maybach stopped in front of Muchichi. Muchichi opened the door and got in. She saw Sheng Xiao wearing sunglasses. His handsome face was mesmerizing. Why did you change your car again? Sheng Xiao actually liked yellow sports cars. But he had not driven such an eye-catching car for a long time, because he wanted to date her. Did you see Dad? Sheng Xiao asked. Yes. Muchichi nodded. I think he will be a good father. But I was stopped by second aunt at the door just now. Aunt Rong obviously doesn't like me. Your father is not someone who can be tricked easily. He used to be like me. Sheng Xiao answered Muchichi while driving. He is also a passionate man. He will not be influenced by women. So you don't have to worry. But he can't move right now. Little one, this is how you can tell right from wrong. Sheng Xiao pointed at his own head. And one more thing, Mu Tongxue is gone. How so? They're either dead or hidden. Sheng Xiao brought her to the revolving restaurant they used to go to, because it was the only place that was absolutely hidden. Mu Qiqi liked it too. The night view at night was not bad. Isn't it obvious that even you can't find it? But it can't be the Mu family. That's interesting. Sheng Xiao led Mu Qiqi out of the car. The two of them hugged each other like a couple in love. Soon, the two of them entered the private room. The first thing Sheng Xiao did was to hold Mu Qiqi on his thighs. Lifting her chin, he asked, "You're going to leave for a week. How are you going to compensate me? I will miss you very much, even in my dreams." Mu Qiqi quickly said, "We haven't been apart for more than a year. That's why I won't be used to leaving you." Xiao Xiao. Mu Qiqi's last word was filled with endless grievance and coquettishness. Sheng Xiao enjoyed it very much. Military training is in a place full of male hormones. Mu Qiqi said nothing. She simply unbuttoned Sheng Xiao's shirt and licked his collarbone with her tongue. Sheng Xiao's entire body tensed. He almost couldn't hold back and pressed her down on the table, although he had done that before. "No matter where I am, you will know what I'm doing and who I'm in contact with, won't you?" Sheng Xiao grabbed Mu Qiqi's neck and looked at her with a sharp gaze. "You're mine. You're mine too. Mine alone. You can't get too close to those female celebrities when you attend events in the future. Not even if you're just fooling around." Sheng Xiao smiled playfully. His heart was filled with sweetness. The little one was finally not being so careful with him. She knew to make demands of him. He believed that the relationship between a man and a woman must be equal. He could give Mu Qiqi time to grow up. But he also hoped that Mu Qiqi could give him a sense of security when it came to love. And her control was the sense of security that he recognized. Only then could he feel the strong feelings in Mu Qiqi's heart. And he liked being cared for like that. So, he couldn't hold back anymore. He kissed her fiercely and forcefully. The waiter who was holding the tray opened the door and saw it. He was shocked. Sheng Xiao didn't even look up. He simply told the waiter, "Get out. Close the door." The waiter blushed and quickly left the private room, so that the two could kiss as they wished. This time, Mu Qiqi was clearly more proactive. But Sheng Xiao held back. "Let's go home and continue." Mu Qiqi's dress was in a mess. She looked very embarrassed. But Sheng Xiao held her tightly in his arms and kissed her on the head. "You little one who made me lose control. I really want to eat you." "Then you eat me. You don't know what's good for you. Don't beg for mercy when we get home." Mu Qiqi laughed happily. She buried her head in Sheng Xiao's arms. Her heart was beating fast. In fact, she wanted to sacrifice herself for Sheng Xiao. She wanted to tell everyone about their relationship. She didn't care about the Shen family or the Sheng family. But she also knew that if she did that, she would completely ruin the happiness between her and Sheng Xiao. After they finished their meal in the revolving restaurant, they planned to go out to enjoy the night view. But when they walked out of the private room, they saw Duan Xiao, and sitting at the bar counter. He was hugging a woman, and they were kissing as if there was no one else around. Mu Qiqi saw that and glanced at Sheng Xiao. When they walked out of the restaurant, Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao worriedly. "Speaking of which, I haven't seen Qianqian for a long time. I wonder how she is now. Do you want to tell her? If they broke up, I have nothing to say." But if Duan Xiao went out behind Qianqian's back? "Up to you," Sheng Xiao said. Then he brought her to the Ferris wheel. Mu Qiqi thought for a while. Then, she took out her phone and called Qianqian. Qianqian heard Mu Qiqi's voice. She was very excited. "Qiqi, why did you call me so late? Are you okay? I just came back from abroad. I heard that many things happened to you. I was thinking of finding time to play with you." "You went abroad?" "Yes, with Xiaoan. We are getting engaged soon. When the time comes, you and the crown prince can come together." Qianqian's tone was light. She could feel that she was very happy now. But wasn't what she and Sheng Xiao saw the truth? Chapter 152. Mu Qiqi lowered her head and thought for a few seconds. Then she said to Sheng Xiao in a low voice, "Xiao Xiao, Qianqian is my only friend." "Then tell her." Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi tightly and led her out of the revolving restaurant. "You don't have to come here anymore." "But Xiao Xiao, have you forgotten? Duan Xiao, and has seen you in the club. He knows about our relationship. He has to have the chance to tell others. Sheng Xiao said. Then, he led Mu Qiqi out of the restaurant and back to their new home. Seeing that Mu Qiqi had packed her luggage, Sheng Xiao's eyes darkened. He lifted Mu Qiqi over his shoulder. Xiao Xiao, weren't you seducing me unscrupulously in the restaurant? Sheng Xiao moved closer to Mu Qiqi's nose and stared into her eyes. I was. Now you have to bear the consequences. With that, Mu Qiqi's neck was bitten viciously by Sheng Xiao, and her body was held tightly in his arms. Mu Qiqi could not speak anymore. She was bitten for the whole night. She was only freed when the sky turned blue, but she felt as if she had just been fished out of the water. Her strength was completely drained. Of course, to avoid suspicion, Sheng Xiao did not leave any obvious marks on Mu Qiqi's body. The little one still had to see people. Of course, he cherished her reputation. Mu Qiqi was very tired. In her daze, she saw a tall figure standing beside the big bed and cleaning her up. Mu Qiqi smiled at Sheng Xiao in her half-awake state. Sheng Xiao was excited. This little one actually smiled at him unguardedly at this moment. Was she not worried that she could not come to school on time tomorrow? Mu Qiqi slept soundly on the big bed. The next morning, she was woken up by the alarm clock. When she went downstairs, she saw Su Zipei cooking soup in the kitchen, but Sheng Xiao was gone. Aunt, young Master Sheng called me early in the morning. He asked me to cook some nourishing chicken soup for you. You have been gone for a week. He is worried about you. Su Zipei explained. It's not because of that. Mu Qiqi blushed a little. Seeing that her walking posture was a little strange, Su Zipei was about to ask. But after thinking about it, she understood. Go wash up. Okay. I'm still young, but I can't ignore it. Mu Qiqi could not refute her concern. After all, it was something between her and Sheng Xiao, and it was not appropriate to talk about it with others. Your cell phone is with me. Grandpa Shen called early in the morning. He's in the hospital, so he won't be sending you to school. All right. There's one more thing. Su Zipei was about to tell her that she could not find Mu Tongxue when Mu Qiqi's phone rang again. Su Zipei answered it for her. Then she covered her phone and said, Rong Junhan. Give it to me. Mu Qiqi took the phone and put it to her ear. Aunt Rong, give me an address. I'll send you to Shengting. Rong Junhan said, Since you are Jianchuan's daughter, you will be my daughter in the future. It is only natural for me to take care of you. Auntie Rong, don't bother. Auntie can give me a lift. You are a Shun. You can't stay in the Sheng family's villa all the time. You have your parents in your family. Tell me the address. Rong Junhan was very strong. Moreover, Mu Qiqi did not know what she was planning. She undoubtedly hated Mu Qiqi's existence. But she still pretended to be kind to her. Who was she trying to fool? Mu Qiqi did not refuse. She told Rong Junhan the address of the villa. What did she say? She's not even married into the Shen family yet, but she's already the head of the family. She wants to send me to Shengting, said Mu Qiqi. Let's go, Aunt Rong. Let's pack up and go to the villa. Should I tell young Master Sheng? Mu Qiqi shook her head, because she knew that Sheng Xiao had his ways to find out about her. But she had not found a chance to tell him about Qianqian. Mu Qiqi did not know how to tell him about it. Not long after they arrived at the villa, Rong Junhan arrived in front of the villa, in her limited edition white car. She said to Mu Qiqi when she saw her, Put your luggage in the car. Let's go. Aunt Rong, I'm leaving now. Mu Qiqi put her luggage in the trunk and said goodbye to Su Zipei. Su Zipei looked at Mu Qiqi worriedly. But Rong Junhan was Shen Jianchuan's fiancé now. She had the right to take care of Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi got into the car and fastened the seatbelt. But there were many barriers between them. Moreover, Rong Junhan was driving fast on the road. Mu Qiqi, I know what you're thinking. Although you're acting like you don't want to go back to the Shen family, you've already planned it, haven't you? Jianchuan is your father. It's only a matter of time before he brings you back to the Shen family. You're just trying to buy people's hearts. Am I right? When you go back to the Shen family, you'll be the rightful eldest daughter of the Shen family. And I'll become a joke. Aunt Rong, if it's you, how can you not hate me? Rong Junhan slammed on the brakes and stopped the car. Her eyes were filled with extreme anger. From now on, we'll have to live in torment every day. After all, I can't suffer alone. There's one more thing I must tell you. Your father and I are getting married soon. So from that day onwards, I'll be your mother in name. I'll do my best to take care of you. Mu Qiqi understood the meaning behind Rong Juanhan's words. So she remained calm. I know you mind my existence, but I'm not a clay figurine. You can crush me easily. So, you came to see me off today just to declare war. I'm just telling you not to dream about things that you can never get. For example, fatherly love. You didn't get it when you were in the Mu family. You won't get it when you're in the Shen family. I won't give my enemy any chance to live. Don't you want to marry into the Shen family? I'll let you know that marrying into the Shen family is much harder than not marrying at all. Mu Qiqi thought that Rong Junhan would pretend to be sincere. But now that she had revealed the truth, Mu Qiqi felt more relaxed. Because she did not have to pretend anymore. If you think that I'm easy to bully, just come at me. Mu Qiqi did not take Rong Juanhan's warning to heart. When the time comes, don't go for wool and come home shorn. Don't lose what you already have. The military training will last for a week, right? I'll come and pick you up then. Of course, Rong Junhan did not care about Mu Qiqi at all. She was just a little girl. But at that moment, Mu Qiqi suddenly had a bold guess. The Mu family would not hide Mu Tongxue. So who else could she be useful to? Chapter 153. Having come this far, Mu Qiqi was no longer a naive person. She would pay more attention to everything. With that thought in mind, Mu Qiqi sent a message to Sheng Xiao before she entered the university. I suspect that Rong Junhan has hidden Mu Tongxue. I don't know what she wants to do, but she sent me to the university today and threatened me. Sheng Xiao was about to board the plane at the airport. He would go abroad to deal with some business deals before Mu Qiqi went to the military training. When he saw Mu Qiqi's message, he noticed that it was not about Rong Junhan hiding Mu Tongxue. It was about Mu Qiqi being threatened by Rong Junhan. Everyone knew how threatening Rong Junhan would be to Mu Qiqi if she married into the Shen family. So, if Rong Junhan did not want to change her attitude towards Mu Qiqi, then he could only let Rong Junhan marry into the Shen family fall through. Rong Junhan had taken good care of the Shen family all these years. But the Shen family had helped the Rong family through several crises. So, it was hard to tell who owed whom. On the surface, Rong Junhan had done her best. She had a good reputation. But could she take care of Shen Jianchuan for so many years without any purpose? Previously, he had suspected that the timing of Shen Jianchuan waking up was too coincidental. However, if he wanted to investigate, it might take some time. Mu Qiqi thought that Sheng Xiao would not reply to her. She was about to call Qianqian. But Sheng Xiao's reply was enough to make her laugh. Then threaten her. Can't you do that? What was Rong Junhan? Although Mu Tongxue's words were not pleasant, she was telling the truth. She was an outsider through and through. I know you love me. After replying, Mu Qiqi scrolled to Qianqian's number. She could only think of the scene she saw last night. Mu Qiqi's expression became much more serious. Hello, Qiqi. Qianqian, I am going to the military training soon. But there is something I want to tell you. Mu Qiqi said awkwardly. She was afraid that she would hurt Qianqian. But at the same time, she was afraid that Qianqian would be fooled again. Tell me. I am listening. Xiao Xiao and I were at the revolving restaurant last night. But before Mu Qiqi could finish, Qianqian quickly interrupted her. I know what you want to say. Qiqi, let's talk about it when you come back, okay? Now hurry up and go for your military training. Before Mu Qiqi could ask anything else, Qianqian hung up the phone in a hurry. Her attitude was very strange. If that was the case, Qianqian must have known about Duan Shaoan. If she knew that he was looking for other women, why did she still get engaged to him? They were friends and childhood sweethearts. Everything seemed to be perfect. However, Duan Xiao gave Mu Qiqi the feeling that he was restless. But why would Qianqian tolerate Duan Xiao? And when she hated evil and her family was well off, she couldn't figure it out. But no matter what, this was someone else's business. No matter how worried she was, she could not go to Qianqian and ask her to break up. With that thought in mind, Mu Qiqi turned around and entered the university. This was her path as a forensic doctor, and also her own choice. In fact, Qianqian did know about Duan Shaoan. As the engagement approached, more and more people told her that they saw Duan Shao and having sex with another woman. Therefore, after hanging up the phone with Mu Qiqi, she really wanted to go to the Duan family and question Duan Shaoan. He had promised her that he would not flirt with other women. Why did he have to be so brazen when it was close to the engagement? Qianqian liked to stand up for others, but when things happened to her, she would show her cowardice and give in. It was not that Duan Shaoan did not like her. She could feel it. But Duan Shao preferred the colorful world outside. He liked young girls who did not need money. She knew that. But she had liked him for so many years. She had already accepted her fate. After the engagement, both of them would go abroad to study. This was the future she had envisioned. She could try to change Duan Shaoan. She thought she could influence him with love. But even Qiqi could see Duan Shao and having an affair outside. At the end of the day, she was just an 18-year-old girl. She liked someone so much that she had no dignity. Forget it. She would endure it. After the engagement, she would be able to restrain Duan Shaoan. She knew it. At that moment, Mu Qiqi did not know what happened to her best friend, because she was about to enter the cruel military training. Of course, she was not surprised by Mu Tongshua's whereabouts. Rong Junhan had taken Mu Tongxue away. Moreover, Mu Tongxue was sent to her dance school. Mu Tongxue did not know Rong Junhan's intention, but she was afraid from the bottom of her heart, because she did not know what the young mistress of the Shen family would do to her. From today onwards, I want you to imitate Mu Qiqi. You must look exactly like her, from the way she speaks to her, even the way she walks. Mu Tongxue was shocked when she heard what Rong Junhan said. But we can totally tell each other apart from our appearance. All these can be faked. I want you to pretend to be Mu Qiqi in front of Jianxuan. You must ruin Mu Qiqi's image in his heart. I will arrange the time. But you have no other choice. Because you have nowhere to go. Rong Junhan stared into Mu Tongshue's eyes. Don't you want revenge? Of course I want it. I want it even in my dreams. Then why are you hesitating? After this, I will change your name. I will let you learn in my dance studio. I will give you a new life as long as you promise to pretend to be Mu Qiqi for me. Now that Mu Tongshue's everything was ruined, she needed a new life. And Rong Junhan's suggestion was too tempting. So, Mu Tongxue felt that she could not reject it. Are you sure you will succeed? Mu Qiqi is not easy to deal with now. No matter how difficult it is, she is just a little girl. But doesn't she have someone to teach her? It's just Grandpa Shen's trick. He knew that you're not a member of the Shen family. So he purposely taught Mu Qiqi a lesson. Do you really think that no one in the Sheng family would care about a little girl other than Jing Yan? Rong Junhan said arrogantly. Because in her heart, the Sheng family was just that arrogant. But she never thought that Mu Qiqi had Sheng Xiao behind her back. And Sheng Xiao would not care whose sister-in-law she was, or whom she was indebted to. Chapter 154. Although Sheng Xiao was abroad, he asked Jing Yun to keep an eye on the Shen family. He wanted to make Shen Jianxuan's doctor one of his own. Mu Qiqi guessed that Rong Junhan had hidden Mu Tongxue. Actually, he already knew it. Otherwise, he would not be the crown prince of Huang Yao anymore. What else could he use Mu Tongxue for now? It was her face that looked similar to Mu Qiqi's. Not only did Sheng Xiao want him to know about it, but he also wanted Grandpa Shen to know about it. So he asked Jing Yin to go to the Shen family to fish with Grandpa Shen. Old Shen, are you going to let Madame Rong marry into the Shen family? You should know what it means to Mu Qiqi if Madame Rong marries into the Shen family. We did not save Mu Qiqi just to let her escape from the wolf's den and enter the tiger's mouth. Grandpa Shen sneered while fishing. Why do you think I insisted on letting Mu Qiqi marry into the Shen family? Because I know that Rong Junhan has been trying to buy people's hearts all these years. She did take care of the Shen family. But what the Shen family gave her in return was to protect the Rong family from bankruptcy. So I have never felt sorry for her. But we owe Mu Qiqi a lot. Old Shen, I know that Junhan will not accept Mu Qiqi, but Mu Qiqi is my granddaughter. It is natural for her to marry into the Shen family. No one can stop her. But young Master Shen and Madame Rong are getting married. Jing Yin reminded him. There is one more thing I should tell you. Mu Tongxue is missing. According to my guess, Madame Rong is the only one who is interested in Mu Tongxue now. If she tries to stir up trouble in front of young Master Shen, it will affect the relationship between Mu Qiqi and young Master Shen. After hearing this, Grandpa Shen turned around and looked at Jing Yun. Mu Tongxue is missing? Even the Sheng family couldn't find this person, vanishing without a trace in a single night. Isn't that enough to prove something? Grandpa Shen's eyes darkened. He put down his fishing rod and nodded. If it is true, Rong Junhan will not be able to marry into the Shen family. As for Jianchuan, I will tell him everything and ask him to be more careful. Don't worry. Jianchuan is different from Mu Qiqi's uncles. He has his own judgment. He will not be easily influenced. Then I am relieved. Miss Mu Qiqi is only going out for military training. I do not want her to come back. I do not want her to be bullied. Thank you, Jing Yin. With me and her father here, no one in this family can bully her. Jing Yin conveyed his message and left the Shen family. But he had reminded Grandpa Shen enough. Although Grandpa Shen had retired, he was not a fool. His mind was as clear as a mirror. Jianchuan could not speak. Yin. Jiu Jianchuan. Sheng of the Shengzin of Jiu. Although Shen Jianchuan could not speak, he could feel that there was a gap between Grandpa Shen and the Shen family. So, Shen Jianchuan pinched Grandpa Shen's palm when the Shens were not around. Grandpa Shen understood his son's hint. He said, Eldest brother, you must understand what I am going to say next. Mu Qiqi has a twin sister. She is a member of the Mu family. She looks like Mu Qiqi. This girl bullied Mu Qiqi before. She even wanted to join the Shen family. She has gone missing recently. I suspect that Junhan has hidden her. I am telling you this, so that you know what is going on. Mu Qiqi has a pair of clear eyes. She is an unforgettable girl. She is a good girl. Shen Jianchuan did not know what happened between the Shen family and Rong Junhan. But he knew that Rong Junhan did not like Mu Qiqi. So he nodded. You have a daughter now. You must get well soon. Don't let a woman lead you by the nose. Junhan has been taking care of you for many years. But she is not without purpose. You should think about it yourself. I will not say much. Shen Jianchuan nodded again. There were some things that he did not understand. But he did not forget everything even though he had been asleep for more than 10 years. For example, how did Su Ziqing know that he was going to be engaged to Miss Rong that night? Who told Su Ziqing about it? Since you understand, I will not say much. I will bring Mu Qiqi to see you when she comes back. At the mention of Mu Qiqi, Shen Jianchuan's eyes lit up. His daughter was probably the biggest motivation for him to recover. At that moment, Mu Qiqi was running with weights on the field with her classmates. Actually, there were not many girls who majored in forensic science. There were only a few girls who were cheated by the main characters in the dramas. They thought that forensic doctors were handsome and stylish. They were indeed stylish. But these girls did not seem to know what they were going to face next. Pathology, physiology, and anatomy were the most basic subjects. When they were in their second year, they would learn about parasites. Because the maggots on a corpse were also an important basis to determine the time of death. Mu Qiqi had done a lot of homework. She was prepared to vomit 1,000,000 times. But she could not bear to see her friends laughing happily. When she returned to the dormitory at night, Mu Qiqi hid in the washroom and video-called Sheng Xiao. Knowing that he was in Germany, Mu Qiqi could not help but miss him. Xiao Xiao, I can't sleep when I am not in your arms. Lack of love. Sheng Xiao replied casually. Who told you that? Mu Qiqi glared at him. Sheng Xiao chuckled. He put down the document in his hand and said, I will record a lullaby for you later. I will send it to you when I am done with my work. Hurry up. Mu Qiqi waited. After the video call ended, she squatted in the washroom and waited. After a while, Sheng Xiao's voice came. But Mu Qiqi laughed when she heard it. Because Sheng Xiao was not singing a lullaby. He was singing Two Tigers. Qiqi, stop chatting with your boyfriend. I am going to pee. Mu Qiqi walked out of the washroom with her phone in satisfaction when she heard her roommate's voice. Qiqi, Can your boyfriend stand you being so clingy? Another roommate asked her while cutting her nails. He has a bad temper. But he had never lost his temper at her. Let's introduce him next time. Introduce the crown prince of Huangyao to you? You will be scared to death. Mu Qiqi shook her head. Let's wait for the next time. Petty. Mu Qiqi did not care. She was petty to Sheng Xiao. Everything that belonged to this man was hers. And it could only be hers. Holding her phone, Mu Qiqi listened to Sheng Xiao's song Two Tigers. Then, she put on her earplugs and went to bed. There were still 5 days left. Why was time passing so slowly? Although it had only been 2 days, Shen Jianchuan already knew everything about Mu Qiqi and the Mu family. He also knew that Rong Junhan had instigated the Shen family not to admit Mu Qiqi's identity. His daughter. Chapter 155. In order to take care of Shen Jianchuan, Rong Junhan moved into the Shen family. Grandpa Shen could not say anything. After all, Rong Junhan was his eldest son's fiancée. She had taken care of his son for so many years. As a father, he should be grateful to her. Moreover, their wedding was coming soon. The Shen family was very happy about it, especially second brother's family. They were very happy when they knew that Rong Junhan was moving into the new house that was prepared for them many years ago. They not only supported her verbally, but also helped Rong Junhan to bring her luggage into the Shen family. I'm old now. I can't care about you young people. But Junhan, I only have one request. Qiqi will always have a room and a seat in this house. Father, Qiqi is Jinchuan's daughter. I will definitely take good care of her. Only the Shen brothers believed in these words. Father, eldest sister has always been fair. Are you afraid that she will bully Qiqi? No one dares to touch Qiqi when I'm alive. But what if I'm dead? Grandpa Shen snorted. I know you don't like Qiqi. You don't have to pretend in front of me. Father, isn't it good for Qiqi to stay in the Sheng family now? Second Aunt Huang Yu chimed in. At most, when she comes back from military training, we as her aunts can't take care of her? Junhan, since you and Jianchuan have decided to hold the wedding earlier, you must make sure that Qiqi is well taken care of. You can't let my granddaughter suffer. I know, Father. Shen Jianchuan needed a long time to recover. It would take at least a year and a half. To fulfill Rong Junhan's wish, Shen Jianchuan agreed to hold the wedding earlier. But he might have to sit in a wheelchair at that time. This woman had been by his side for so many years. He should give Rong Junhan a title. Because he needed to find out the truth. If Rong Junhan was innocent, he would certainly treat her well. But if Rong Junhan had really done something that would harm others and herself, he certainly could not let her go so easily. Grandpa Shen was good at finding time to go to the hospital to avoid the Shen family and Rong Junhan. After all, Shen Jianchuan did not need anyone to take care of him 24/7. Therefore, this became the only chance for the father and son to have a heart-to-heart talk. There was no doubt that Grandpa Sheng liked Mu Qiqi very much, especially when he talked about Mu Qiqi's college entrance examination. She had chosen forensic science, with a score of more than 730 points. Grandpa Sheng smiled. Whose granddaughter is she? Mine. Of course, it's also your daughter. He has the temper of our Shen family. Shen Jianchuan listened to her and felt shocked. He just did not expect Mu Tongxue to be so bold. Remembering that Mu Qiqi was going to university, he thought for a long time before mouthing to the old man. Dad, I want to give Mu Qiqi a present. What do you want to give her? Buy her a car, and let her drive it to school. It's a token of my sincerity as a father. The old man nodded and patted his son on the shoulder. Okay, I'll take care of it for you. Now, when Shen Jianchuan spoke, he was silent because he could not make a sound. He could only rely on his lips. Although sometimes Grandpa Shen might not understand. With Mu Qiqi around, you won't be lonely for the rest of your life. Shen Jianchuan nodded. His eyes were filled with hope. He was a father now. He wanted to protect his daughter, especially when he heard that Mu Qiqi had suffered a lot in the Mu family. If Mu Tongxue was really hidden by Rong Junhan and wanted to stir up trouble, he would definitely teach her a lesson. Although he could not move freely, he was still conscious. Moreover, he believed that he could recover 70 to 80% of a normal person after his recovery. While Mu Qiqi was still in school, the Shin family started to prepare for Rong Junhan and Shin Jianchuan's wedding. But when they talked about Mu Qiqi, they had different opinions. This is your and eldest brother's wedding. Is it necessary to introduce Mu Qiqi to everyone? There will be hundreds of people there. What will they think of you and eldest brother? Huang Yu helped Rong Junhan to choose the wedding items outside. In my opinion, she shouldn't come to such an important event. Dad will not agree. What's the use if Dad disagrees? This is your and eldest brother's wedding. You should make your own decisions. Huang Yu sighed. Even if it's for the sake of the Shin family, I can't be too stubborn. Do you really think it's better not to let Mu Qiqi attend the wedding? It's fine if Mu Qiqi is the daughter of that woman, but they are twins. Moreover, they have the same mother but different father. What will people think? Rong Junan nodded. Of course, she did not want to embarrass herself. I will make the arrangements. I will let her attend the wedding too. But whether she can attend the wedding is none of my business, said Rong Junhan solemnly. Her previous arrangement was clearly for Grandpa Shin's sake. Moreover, she could see that Shin Jianchuan liked his daughter very much. But he could not do anything. He could not say anything. So it was up to her to make the decision. Did she want that woman's child to attend her wedding? Not even thinking about it. Sigh. Mu Qiqi will be back tomorrow, right? Sister-in-law, are you going to fetch her? Of course, said Rong Junhan. Huang Yu was a woman. Moreover, she was a mother. Rong Junhan had been serving the Shin family for so many years. She did not get married or have a child. How could she not feel sad when she saw that? So, even if Rong Junhan wanted to do something outrageous, Huang Yu felt that it was reasonable. Although she could not hate Mu Qiqi, she was still willing to stand on Rong Junhan's side. But would Mu Qiqi care about Rong Junhan's appearance in school? Mu Qiqi had been missing Sheng Xiao for 7 days. She just wanted to see Sheng Xiao as soon as possible. She did not want to have more contact with Rong Junhan. And when Sheng Xiao came back from abroad, the first thing he did was to go to Shengting University to fetch Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi walked out of the school immediately after school. She found Sheng Xiao's car and got in it quietly. When they passed the familiar junction, Mu Qiqi lay on Sheng Xiao's body and did not let go. Xiao Xiao, I miss you so much. How can I drive if you hug me like this? Sheng Xiao chuckled. You don't know how I survived the last 5 days with the help of 2 tigers. It was so hard. Mu Qiqi hugged Sheng Xiao's arm, but she did not hug him so tightly that it would affect his driving. You have tanned. Sheng Xiao lowered his head and looked at Mu Qiqi. He felt sorry for her. But you are healthier. You should practice more. Otherwise, you will beg for mercy in the middle of the night. Why are you talking about this now? Mu Qiqi pouted and asked. Chapter 156. Shouldn't they have gotten married a long time ago? It dragged on for so many years. When Mu Qiqi talked about this matter, her eyes were clearly emotionless. She did not think that this was within her jurisdiction. But I don't want her to marry into the Shin family. Because of me? Mu Qiqi asked in surprise. Not just because of that. There are many things about this woman that are suspicious. So, it might not be a good thing for everyone in the Shin family if she marries into the Shin family. Of course, I don't care about other people's business. But I can't ignore it as long as it's about you, Sheng Xiao answered. Mu Qiqi nodded. The grievance she felt after being exposed to the sun for 7 days was gone. Xiao Xiao, you have done many things for me since the day we met. But I have never done anything for you. You still have many things to do for me. Why do you fight with me? Sheng Xiao said meaningfully. Did his little one not know that she was going to have children in the future? Rong Junhan's car arrived at the school gate soon after they left. But Rong Junhan did not get her as she wished. Then she called Mu Qiqi. Where are you? I'm at the gate of your school. I'm sorry, Aunt Rong. I'm already home. Mu Qiqi answered directly. I told you before I sent you there that I would come and get you. Rong Junhan sounded like she was blaming her. Because she hated it when people didn't take her words seriously and took them to heart. I didn't agree. Then Mu Qiqi hung up. She dared to go against Rong Junhan. The reason why Rong Junhan was so proactive was not only because she wanted to show Grandpa Shin, but also because she had installed a camera in her car. She wanted to record Mu Qiqi's every move, so that Mu Tongxue could imitate her. If Mu Qiqi did not interact with her, how could Mu Tongxue imitate her perfectly? After all, Mu Tongxue had too little material in her hands now. Now, it seemed that Mu Qiqi was not just difficult to control. Her rebellious nature was very obvious. She was just an 18-year-old girl. Could she do anything? That was right. Sheng Zhao's little one had been on the national news. Wasn't she going to turn the world upside down? Sheng Xiao laughed when he saw Mu Qiqi hanging up on Rong Juanhan's call. My Qi'er has grown a lot. The Shen family loves her so much. How dare you hang up on her? It's good enough that I hung up on her. I won't pick up her call next time. Mu Qiqi put away her phone and continued to hold Sheng Zhao's hand. The two of them returned to the small villa together. But what surprised Mu Qiqi was that Su Zipei was still in class and had not returned home. In order to be worthy of Mu Qiqi and Lu Wenhua, Su Zipei had been improving herself every day. Forget it, Xiao Xiao. Take a seat. I'm going to take a shower. It's too uncomfortable to wear this camouflage uniform. With that, Mu Qiqi went upstairs. Sheng Xiao followed behind her. He liked the camouflage uniform she was wearing. Since Su Zipei was not here, he would let him have a good meal first. So when Mu Qiqi opened the door, Sheng Xiao carried her on his shoulder and put her on the big bed in her room. Mu Qiqi was startled. She quickly resisted. I'm dirty. I've even jogged after school. Next time, put on a white coat and show me. Sheng Xiao did not mind what she said at all. Moreover, there was a faint fragrance on her body. It was the unique smell of a young girl. Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi. He missed her more. So Mu Qiqi did not struggle anymore. She said to Sheng Xiao, let's go to the bathroom. Sheng Xiao carried her into the bathroom. Then he put her on the washstand. Mu Qiqi was wearing the camouflage uniform. She had the sunshine and beauty of youth. It made people want to get close to her. Xiao Xiao, I miss you. After saying that, Mu Qiqi started to sing the song Two Tigers. Sheng Xiao could not hold back anymore. He grabbed her neck, pulled her to him and kissed her. But just as they kissed passionately, Su Zipei returned to the little mansion. She knocked on Mu Qiqi's door. Qiqi, are you back? Although it was no secret to Su Zipei that they were living together, wouldn't she die of embarrassment if Aunt Zipei saw them being so intimate? Sheng Xiao seemed to read her mind. He deliberately bit her lips to stop her from making a sound. Mu Qiqi was so anxious that she almost cried out. Su Zipei saw that Mu Qiqi did not respond. Then she saw Sheng Zhao's car downstairs. She guessed what was going on in the house. So she tactfully went downstairs. Mu Qiqi quickly pushed Sheng Xiao away when she heard the footsteps getting further away. It's too embarrassing if Aunt Zipei finds out. She already knows anyway. Why not continue? With that, Sheng Xiao did not wait for Mu Qiqi to resist. He gave her a solid bath. However, he did not use the water in the bathroom. When they went downstairs 2 hours later, Mu Qiqi had already taken a bath. Sheng Xiao looked refreshed as if nothing had happened. Dinner is ready. Come and eat. Su Zipei greeted them. Aunt Zipei. Mu Qiqi was a little embarrassed. I will go to Wenhua tonight. You can stay here or go home. It's up to you. Su Zipei deliberately avoided the topic. I have classes tonight. You and Uncle Lu. He is not feeling well these few days. I will take care of him there. Su Zipei explained. Mu Qiqi smiled and nodded. I know. Go ahead. Don't worry about us. I have also made some chicken soup. If you are going to the hospital, please bring it to your father. I am in a hurry. So, I have to go now. Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao when she mentioned the hospital. She hung up on Rong Junhan today. She did not know what Rong Junhan was going to say in front of her father. Will father believe what Rong Junhan said? Won't we know when we visit him tonight? Sheng Xiao leaned back on the chair and answered. He looked lazy. He seemed very confident. Why don't we make a bet? Moreover, they are getting married soon. Rong Junhan must not want me to attend their wedding, right? I am a stain to her. You won't go if she doesn't want you to go. Sheng Xiao lowered his head and looked into Mu Qiqi's eyes. You are not that obedient. But let's see if the wedding can be carried out first. Sheng Xiao picked up the bowl and chopsticks. He put Mu Chi-Chi's favorite dish in her bowl. Hurry up and eat. Let's go to the hospital. Are you going to show yourself? Sheng Xiao shook his head. It's not time yet. Chapter 157. Mu Chi-Chi nodded. She totally understood Sheng Xiao's concern. The Shen family was trying to ostracize her now. If they knew that she was with Sheng Xiao, they might try to separate them. After all, they were one generation apart. After dinner, Sheng Xiao sent Mu Chi-Chi to the hospital. At that moment, second aunt Huang Yu and Rong Junhan were there. When they saw Mu Chi-Chi at the door of the ward, their faces darkened. But they did not stop her, because it was meaningless to stop her now. It was just that Huang Yu had just told Shen Jianchuan that Mu Chi-Chi did not know what was good for her. Now she was here in person. She felt a little ashamed of being caught red-handed. Mu Chi-Chi could feel the atmosphere in the ward, but she kept her composure. She put the chicken soup in front of Shen Jianchuan's bed and sat down in front of him. When Shen Jianchuan saw that his daughter was here, his eyes instantly lit up, and he became energetic. Dad. Mu Chi-Chi felt awkward when she said that. So she said, "We've only met a few times. I'm not used to calling you that." Shen Jianchuan wanted to grab Mu Chi-Chi immediately after he heard that. Mu Chi-Chi understood. She held Shen Jianchuan's skinny left hand. "What do you want to say to me?" "Chi-Chi, your Aunt Rong went to pick you up in the afternoon. Why did you leave alone? Do you know that your Aunt Rong waited for you in the school for 3 hours?" Second aunt took the opportunity to interrupt the interaction between the father and daughter. "Do you not respect your elders at all? Did the Mu family only teach you this?" Mu Chi-Chi wanted to say something when she heard Huang Yu's question. But Shen Jianchuan pinched the back of her hand. It was just a small movement. But Mu Chi-Chi could feel that Shen Jianchuan supported her. He was on her side. So, she turned her head and looked at Huang Yu. "Second aunt, are you good at making things difficult for the younger generation? What nonsense are you talking about? Otherwise, why would you stop me from seeing my father again and again? Why would you talk bad about me in front of him?" Mu Chi-Chi asked Huang Yu in a serious tone. Huang Yu shook her head. "That's right. That's because your family did not teach you to respect your elders. Respecting the elders doesn't mean following blindly. If the elders told me to kill someone, would I do it? I know you don't like me because I blocked Auntie Rong's way and ruined the relationship between Auntie Rong and Dad. But I'm also a person of flesh and blood. I can't let you hurt me like this again and again. You have a sharp tongue." Second aunt could not win against Mu Chi-Chi in an argument, so she could only mock and snort coldly. Shen Jianchuan pinched Mu Chi-Chi's palm again, as if reminding Mu Chi-Chi not to deliberately pay attention to Huang Yu. If she did that, she would not let go. "No matter how bad my upbringing is, I won't go overboard and meddle in other people's family affairs." Huang Yu didn't know how to refute, so she stood aside sulkily. Mu Chi-Chi finally got some peace and quiet. Only then could she talk to Shen Jianchuan properly. "You went for military training. You're a little tanned, but you're healthier now." Shen Jianchuan nodded. "I brought you some chicken soup. Would you like some?" Shen Jianchuan nodded again when he heard that. He could not even eat a single bite of the food that Rong Junhan had prepared just now. It was a slap to his face. "Eldest brother, you're too much." Mu Chi-Chi did not care about them. She scooped up the chicken soup and gave it to Shen Jianchuan. Was that not enough to explain the problem? Shen Jianchuan had been standing by his daughter's side since the beginning. "Huang Yu, don't say any more." Rong Junhan quietly kept the thermos and held it in her hand. "It's rare for your eldest brother to see his daughter. Let them get to know each other better. Are we leaving just like that?" Huang Yu was not satisfied. Mu Chi-Chi only felt relieved when she saw them leaving the ward. She said to Shen Jianchuan, "Father, you must get well soon. Otherwise, I will continue to be bullied." Mu Chi-Chi said it in a coquettish manner. After all, when did she suffer any losses? Shen Jianchuan drank the chicken soup and nodded. He would definitely recover as soon as possible. So, he did not just ask Grandpa Shen for the treatment in the hospital. He also asked Grandpa Shen to look for a specialist from abroad. It was all so that he could hug his daughter as soon as possible. Mu Chi-Chi knew that Shen Jianchuan was not a bad person. He would not be like Papa Mu. So, she was relieved and decided to open up to her father. Of course, that was excluding the matter of her being with Sheng Xiao. I will accompany you today. Shen Jianxuan was already satisfied with that. After a while, Mu Qiqi left the hospital. Shen Jianxuan called the nurse over and mouthed to her that he wanted to see Grandpa Shen. His daughter's position in the Shen family was so bad. As a father, he felt sorry for her. So, he had to do something for his daughter. After Mu Qiqi left the hospital, she went back to Sheng Xiao's car. But when Sheng Xiao saw Rong Junhan and second aunt leaving, he knew that she must be in a difficult situation. Did she teach you a lesson? I don't eat at her house. Why should I endure her lesson? Mu Qiqi answered. I'm just worried that father can't move. So, Aunt Rong will take care of him. She is your father's fiancée in name. If you want her not to be his fiancée, you must find her fault. Sheng Xiao said meaningfully while driving. Do you have any idea? Let's go back and talk. Sheng Xiao stared at his little one. Didn't I tell you before that the timing of your father's awakening was too coincidental? So, I asked Jing Yun to look up your father's information in the hospital. There is nothing suspicious about him waking up. But I found something else. Something else. Mu Qiqi was excited. The two of them sped up and went home. They wanted to figure out what was going on. But they received a call from Grandpa Shen. Qiqi, I am at the villa. Why are you not back from the hospital yet? Mu Qiqi turned around and looked at Sheng Xiao. It's Grandpa. Sheng Xiao heard that and turned around immediately. He sent Mu Qiqi to the entrance of the villa. Mu Qiqi entered the villa and saw Grandpa Shen standing in front of a brand new car. He waved at her. Come and have a look. Grandpa, this is a gift from your father. Grandpa Shen passed the car key to Mu Qiqi. You can drive it to school. Wow, Grandpa, this is too ostentatious. And I don't know how to drive. Mu Qiqi did not know whether to laugh or cry. This is your father's gift. You must accept it no matter what. Grandpa Shen was happy because he could still do something for his son. Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and nodded. I can accept it. But the Shen family has something to say. Your father bought it with his money. Who dares to object? Grandpa, I went to the hospital to visit father today. I felt a little uneasy. Second aunt is also Aunt Rong's woman. I am worried that father will not be well taken care of. Chapter 158. Grandpa Mu was a military man. So, he liked cars with a lot of space. It was a little exaggerated for a petite Mu Qiqi to drive such a car. But Mu Qiqi was still happy because it was a cool car. Grandpa Mu was satisfied when he saw Mu Qiqi being so happy. Your father asked me to go to the hospital. I'll go now. I'll teach you how to drive sometime. Mu Qiqi smiled. She had the best driver. She didn't need Grandpa Mu to teach her. After Grandpa Mu left, Sheng Xiao entered the small villa. When he saw the car, he crossed his arms and said, Your grandfather is really generous. It's a pity that I don't know how to drive. I know how to drive a lot of cars. But I don't know which one you want to learn. Mu Qiqi blushed. She knew that he was implying something. But she passed him the car key. Let's go home first. Tell me what you found. I can't wait. They drove the new car home. Sheng Xiao brought Mu Qiqi into the study. He took out the documents Jing Yun sent. This is the copy of all the documents after your father was hospitalized. It includes the diagnosis of his injuries. Mu Qiqi quickly opened the documents. But she couldn't understand the professional terms. Just tell me. Sheng Xiao turned her body and told her face to face. To put it simply, your father was indeed seriously injured at that time. There were many injuries on his body. But those injuries were not the main cause of your father becoming a vegetable. The main reason why he became a vegetable is because of the impact. He was injured twice. There was a 2-hour gap between the two injuries. You mean it was not done by the same group of people? Mu Qiqi understood what Sheng Xiao meant. If you were the one who hit him, would you hit him 2 hours later? Mu Qiqi shook her head. Most importantly, this diagnosis was taken from the discarded documents. In other words, the second collision injury was concealed. If it was done by the group of people who hurt your father, why would they hide it? Mu Qiqi's expression darkened. It's someone related to my father. They were afraid that he would know. That's why they hid it. But the doctor who gave the diagnosis had left the hospital a long time ago. So, I asked Jing Yin to find the person and find out the truth. You already have a suspect in your heart, right? Why did Rong Junhan stay by your father's side all these years? Was it really because of love? Or was it because he was afraid that the secret would be revealed? No one knows. Sheng Xiao closed the file and answered Mu Qiqi. All in all, the more I investigate this woman, the more interesting she becomes. Xiao Xiao, you're really amazing. Mu Qiqi put her arms around Sheng Xiao's neck. Is this the first day you know how powerful I am? This man loved to say things with hidden meanings. Moreover, they were all dirty jokes. It was really irresistible. Want to learn how to drive? Mu Qiqi nodded at his question. Are you going to teach him now? But it's already late at night. I'll teach you now. With that, he carried Mu Qiqi straight to the bedroom, not giving her any chance to react. Mu Qiqi was stunned for a moment. Then she understood. This man was she was too naive just now. When Grandpa Shen arrived at the hospital, he met his son. From him, he knew that Huang Yu had made things difficult for Mu Qiqi today. Father, there are no rules in the house now. From now on, Huang Yu does not need to appear in my ward. Shen Jianchuan spent a lot of effort to tell Grandpa Shen. Grandpa Shen nodded his head. Are you taking revenge for your daughter? She is still your granddaughter. Grandpa Shen never asked about the affairs of the Shen family. He never intervened in the fight between second and third daughter-in-law. But this time, Huang Yu did something to Xiao Qiqi. She was eldest brother's favorite. How could he allow it? Since Shen Jianchuan had spoken, it would be much easier to settle the matter. Don't worry. You won't be able to see her tomorrow. Also, when I sent the car to Qiqi just now, she told me that you can't move around freely now. She is worried about your safety. She is worried that you might be controlled by someone. How could the father and son not care about that? Little girl, you are quite meticulous. It was Jing Yin who taught you. How was it Jing Yin who taught her? It was clearly Sheng Xiao who taught her step by step. After receiving his son's request, Grandpa Shen returned to the Shen family. While everyone was still awake, he summoned the Shen family to the front hall. I asked you to come here so late because I have an arrangement. From tomorrow onwards, only Junhan will take care of the two daughters-in-law in the hospital. Don't go to eldest brother's ward. Father, why? Huang Yu asked quickly. You made things difficult for his daughter in front of him. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because he can't say a word? Grandpa Shen said to Huang Yu sternly. In order to keep eldest brother happy, don't go around in front of him. Save your kindness for the future. Huang Yu looked at Grandpa Shen. Huang Yu was upset. She leaned on her husband's arm unwillingly, but second elder could not do anything about it. Let's listen to father. I am afraid that father is acting on his own. Unfortunately, Grandpa Shen heard what she said, so he turned around and sneered. If you don't believe me, you can go to the hospital tomorrow. I don't care if you are kicked out. Huang Yu was unwilling, but she had to give up. Although she was worried about her sister-in-law, she had offended eldest brother. She was stuck in a dilemma. You all know what kind of person eldest brother is. Although his body is broken now, he is still conscious. Some people should not do things that are difficult and unrewarding. Compared to Huang Yu, third aunt was much more low-key after she was humiliated that day. Because she knew that the people around her hated her very much. Now, she was very happy to see second elder being humiliated. Huang Yu was jumping up and down. But, she was not allowed to enter the ward because of Shen Jianchuan's words. She was really happy. Everyone could see that Shen Jianchuan was taking revenge for Mu Qiqi, including Rong Junhan. Of course, she did not know that Sheng Xiao had asked Jing Yin to investigate her secretly. If they could find the evidence, the marriage would come to an end. She did not expect that Shen Jianchuan could come up with so many ideas, even though he could not speak. In order to protect that woman's child, Shen Jianchuan did not care about her for so many years. He was really heartless. It was okay. She did not have the absolute right to speak now. She would wait until she married into the Shen family. Then, she would settle the scores with Grandpa Shen and Mu Qiqi. Chapter 159. Although she was not sure, She was sure that the girl who kissed Duan Xiao, and in the revolving restaurant, that night was very similar to this girl. Especially her side profile. She did not know what Qianqian was thinking after she called her that day. She did not even know when she would get engaged. Mu Qiqi had mixed feelings when she thought about it. What surprised Mu Qiqi even more was that Qianqian was already engaged. She was like a snail, hiding in her shell and deceiving herself. She did not listen to anyone's advice. She did not even tell anyone who saw Duan Xiao, Anne's affair. She just got engaged because she did not want to cause any more trouble. Mu Qiqi did not take the initiative to contact Qianqian. It was because she felt that although she did not do anything wrong with Duan Xiao, and it was too much for Qianqian. So it was reasonable that Qianqian did not want to contact her. She thought about the last days in Eton. She and Qianqian were so carefree. Why did they have to bear more and more pain when they were adults and entered university? She was hurt by Mu Tongxue. Then she lost her mother. She had experienced the biggest change in her life. To confirm her guess, Mu Qiqi deliberately paid attention to the girls' department and classroom. She even saw the girls' dormitory. But she saw the girl driving a black car and driving past the school road more than once. After school, Mu Qiqi told Sheng Xiao about it. I think Qianqian, and I can't go back to the past. Of course. She did not tell you that she is engaged. Sheng Xiao told her frankly. She is engaged? Sheng Xiao nodded. The aristocratic circle was not small, but it was not big either. Mu Qiqi didn't say anything more, but she looked disappointed. Everyone had their own life, and she didn't have the right to criticize Qianqian's decision. Duan Xiao, Anne's lover, is in Shengting University. She does not want to wake up. It is useless for you to be anxious. Mu Qiqi sighed. That was all she could do. She thought that the relationship between her and Qianqian had come to an end. But she did not expect that Qianqian would contact her 2 days later. Qiqi, are you free? I want to meet you. Yes. Mu Qiqi quickly replied. So after class, Mu Qiqi texted Sheng Xiao and told him that she would go to the cafe and come home later. The engaged Qianqian had indeed matured. But Mu Qiqi did not see a smile on her face anymore. Qiqi, actually I know. Mu Qiqi interrupted her. Although I don't know why. I'm pregnant. Qianqian did not wait for Mu Qiqi to finish her sentence and dropped a bomb on her. Duan Xiaoan's child. Then, you can just get married. But I found out that he was still in contact with that woman. Qianqian held the cup, her tears falling. I'm only 18 years old, but I've already given up everything for him. I've done everything I can for him. Everything I should have done for him. But in the end, I realized that men are really cheap. They like things that they can't get. Do your parents know about this? Yes. Qianqian nodded. But Qiqi, I really don't know what to do now. Mu Qiqi looked at Qianqian. She did not know what she had gone through in such a short time. I don't know how to persuade you now. I don't know if this child is important to you or not. Do you want it or not? I just want to say one thing. Duan Xiao, and is definitely not someone you can entrust your life to. After Qianqian heard that, she seemed to have made up her mind. I want the child. It's a life after all. But you're only 18 years old. I've made up my mind. I'll tell him. Mu Qiqi did not know what Qianqian was planning. Although her family did not lack money, Qianqian was still so young. Although the child was legitimate, Mu Qiqi always felt that she was shouldering something that she should not be shouldering at her age. Mu Qiqi was very touched when she saw Qianqian like this. She fell into Sheng Xiao's arms when they got home, and did not say a word. Sheng Xiao hugged the little one and touched her forehead. Are you sick? Or does it hurt? Mu Qiqi thumped her chest. She was speechless. My heart aches. Xiao Qianqian is pregnant. But that scumbag is still fooling around outside. If your friend doesn't wake up, it's useless no matter what you say or do. Mu Qiqi knew that too. I just feel sad. Fortunately, you and Duan Xiao, and are not the same type of person. You are the person who treats me the best in the world. Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi and smiled. He did not care about her anymore. No one could say anything about Qianqian, because she did not want to admit it. Jing Yin has made some progress in the investigation. Do you want to know? What progress? Mu Qiqi quickly poked her head out of his arms. Jingyan found the doctor. He was fired by the hospital director because he did not want to change the conclusion and hide the fact that your father was hit by a car. Who was the person who hit my father? I'm afraid we have to look for the hospital director again. He is the answer to all the questions. Mu Qiqi lay on Sheng Xiao's body. She looked into his deep and dark eyes. Her heart was deeply attracted to them. Sheng Xiao saw her sticking out her, but like a kitten. He slapped her little round butt. Are you seducing me? Mu Qiqi quickly put down her butt. No. But I feel that your posture just now made my heart itch. Sheng Xiao said and hugged Mu Qiqi tightly. Little one, don't you know that a man who has sex is the one you should not mess with? But if we do this every night, will I be like Qianqian? When did I not take precautions? Sheng Xiao asked her confidently. Not every man likes to abuse a woman's body. At least, I can't wait to love your body. Abortion is too harmful to a woman. It will be a shadow for the rest of her life. How did you know? For you, I read the physiological data that only women read. Ungrateful little one. Sheng Xiao said disdainfully. I'll take you to take a bath. Mu Qiqi nodded and wrapped her arms around Sheng Xiao's neck in satisfaction, letting him carry her to the bathroom. It was no wonder. Sheng Xiao was the one who knew her body the best. He knew better than she did when her period was. It seemed that ever since she had Xiao Xiao, she no longer remembered those days. Moreover, Sheng Xiao would often ask her to make medicinal cuisine that was beneficial to a girl's body, because he knew that Mu Qiqi needed nourishment. She was a little thin, and he liked her to be healthy. Xiao Xiao, when Special Assistant Jing comes back, you must tell me. I want to know the result as soon as possible. Chapter 160. But even so, I still want to live with a clear conscience. Mu Qiqi smiled at him. You're asking for it. Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi from above. His handsome face was right in front of her. But it's a coincidence that I too. I'll teach you how to drive someday. You're my woman. How can you not know how to drive? I know, Mu Qiqi answered softly. If you know, then lie down and take a bath. What about you? Mu Qiqi asked naively. You take a bath and I'll take a bath with you. The next day, Rong Junhan went to the hospital alone. Shen Jianchuan was determined not to let Huang Yu appear in his ward. He wanted to stand up for Mu Qiqi, but Rong Junhan was not happy about it. Jianchuan, I know you want a daughter, but we've been together for so many years. I don't want us to be estranged because of this. Can't you let me handle Mu Qiqi's matter? Mu Qiqi is your daughter. Do you think I can bear to mistreat her? Moreover, I can't take care of you every day. If Huang Yu doesn't come to help, should I let Mu Qiqi do it? Rong Junhan sat beside Shen Jianchuan and fed him breakfast after she reached the ward. But she put the porridge into Shen Jianchuan's mouth. Maybe she was taking revenge on him, but she still put the porridge into his mouth. Shen Jianchuan could not stand it anymore. He spat it out. Rong Junhan pretended that Shen Jianchuan was difficult to serve. She made others think that Shen Jianchuan was deliberately making things difficult for her. Jianchuan, what's wrong? It's hot. Shen Jianchuan said with difficulty. I'm sorry. I was too focused when I talked to you. I felt wronged. So, I didn't take care of you. Rong Junhan was good at playing tricks. She would make Shen Jianchuan suffer a little, but she did not do it deliberately. Then, she blew on the porridge and put it into Shen Jianchuan's mouth. It was as if she wanted to see Shen Jianchuan relying on her. That would make her feel better. Shen Jianchuan could stand up for Mu Qiqi. Then, she would vent her anger on him. He was just a good-for-nothing now. Huang Yu stood at the door and watched. She did not dare to enter the ward. She was angry when she saw Rong Junhan being troubled by Shen Jianchuan. Her sister-in-law had done so much for the family. Not only was he not grateful, but he was also torturing her like this. As his sister-in-law, she felt very upset. How would she know about Rong Junhan's trick? However, Shen Jianchuan still had a backup plan. He did not expose Rong Junhan now because he owed her a favor. But it did not mean that Shen Jianchuan would accept it blindly. He would tell Grandpa Shen all the details. And when Grandpa Shen heard it, he would certainly be angry. What is she trying to do? Since they want to take care of you, Why would they play these little tricks to torture you? It's all because I'm a cripple now, Shen Jianchuan answered. After hearing this, the old man felt a little sad. I'll get a nurse to look after her. I'm sure she won't be able to do anything else. Thanks, Dad. Such a woman has bewitched your sisters-in-law. Grandpa Shen patted his knee and sighed. I'm afraid they can't forgive her for taking care of you for more than 10 years. My sisters-in-law will understand it sooner or later. Understand? Grandpa Shen smiled meaningfully. If Rong Junhan was lying to them, it would not be easy to understand some things. I don't dare to let her into the Shen family when she is like this. It was not only because Rong Junhan was afraid of Mu Qiqi, it was also because this woman was very cunning. I was blind in the past. If I knew it earlier, I would have agreed with you and Su Ziqing. Things would not have happened today. But Shen Jianchuan could understand Grandpa Shen's bitterness after he woke up from his sleep for so many years. How could he blame Grandpa Shen now? Especially now that he had Mu Qiqi. It was all the love of a parent. Jing Yin was still investigating Rong Junhan. He wanted to get a result before Rong Junhan and Shen Jianchuan's wedding. But Sheng Xiao did not tell Grandpa Shen about Shen Jianchuan being injured twice. Otherwise, if the result of the investigation was different from what he expected, the Shen family would be in a mess. However, as long as there was no conclusion to this matter, Mu Qiqi would be on tenterhooks. She was afraid that wolves, tigers, and leopards would be by her father's side. There was another thing that worried Mu Qiqi too. It was Qianqian's health. She was pregnant at the age of 18, but she still insisted on giving birth to the child. How much courage did she need? In between classes, Mu Qiqi really wanted to call Qianqian to ask about it. But before Qianqian could call, someone she did not expect came looking for her. Are you Lu Qianqian's good friend? On the way out of class, Mu Qiqi was stopped by someone. It was a girl who was dressed very fashionably. Needless to say, she was Duan Xiaoan's new favorite. My name is Bai Xinlan. I have heard a lot about you. I know you have been observing me for a long time. Mu Qiqi looked at her and asked, what do you want to do? I want to talk about your good friend. Lu Qianqian, are you free? I don't think you should come to me. Mu Qiqi replied. No matter how good your reason is, no matter how much you love Duan Xiao, and it is not a reason to hurt Qianqian. The girl smiled. I know my family is not as good as Lu Qianqian's, but I have the right to love freely, right? Moreover, they are not married yet, but they are engaged. I want you to persuade your friend. How can she be a mother at the age of 18? Don't think that you can control Duan Xiao. And just because you gave birth to his child, even if it is not me, Lu Qianqian will not be able to control Duan Xiaoan. You have said a lot of nonsense. I agree with you. However, I will not make a decision for Qianqian. After saying that, Mu Qiqi walked past Bai Xinlan and left her far behind. Bai Xinlan took a deep breath and smiled. Why would anyone like a scumbag like Duan Xiaoan? Don't think that I will give up on Duan Xiaoan. I don't need Duan Xiaoan, but I need fame and money. Bai Xinlan wanted Mu Qiqi to persuade Qianqian to abort the child. She did not want to control Duan Xiaoan. But how could she say that to Qianqian? But since Bai Xinlan knew about it, it meant that Duan Xiao and already knew about Qianqian's pregnancy. Chapter 161. After class, Mu Qiqi could not help but call Qianqian. How are you feeling today? Qiqi, I don't think I am good at all. Qianqian was sobbing. I went for a checkup today. The doctor said that the baby is not in the right position. I might not be able to keep it. You are still so young. You will have a baby in the future. Mu Qiqi felt sorry for her. But Xiaoan will not come back without a baby. After hearing this, Mu Qiqi remembered that Duan Xiao and came to the school to pick up Bai Xinlan. She snorted. Qianqian, can you stop lying to yourself? Qiqi, can you stop scolding me and support me? Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and nodded. Okay. Which hospital are you in? I will go and see you. I have gone home. We will meet again another day. Mu Qiqi was very angry, but she could not do anything. It was Qianqian's problem. What could she say? After returning to the small mansion, Mu Qiqi stared at the medical book in a daze. Susie Pei saw her and asked, "What's wrong? You look dejected." "Aunt, I am just thinking about how terrible it would be for a woman to love the wrong person. Because of Qianqian." Susie Pei could guess it. "This child is not bad. Her family background and status are all top-notch. Why does she have to stick to one tree? She is pregnant now. How old is she?" Then Mu Qiqi looked at Susie Pei and asked, "You don't seem to worry about me at all." "Why should I worry about you? I believe in young Master Sheng. Don't be fooled by the rumors about him. He is more sensitive and meticulous than anyone else. He would never allow what happened to Qianqian to happen to you." Susie Pei snorted. "You don't know how good of a man you have met." "I know. It's good that you know. As for Qianqian, you don't have time to worry about her." Then, Susie Pei thought of something important. "Qiqi, what is it? Why are you so serious?" "I am going to register my marriage with your Uncle Lu," Susie Pei said embarrassedly. "He proposed to me. That's a good thing. When is the wedding?" "We don't plan to be extravagant. Let's just have a simple family dinner." Susie Pei smiled happily. "It's because of you that I can find new happiness. Qiqi, you are my lucky star. Auntie, if it wasn't for you taking care of me, who knows what would have happened to me. I also hope that you are well." After that, they hugged each other tightly. Mu Qiqi was happy that Susie Pei could find her own happiness again. Although she wanted to see her aunt get married, Lu Wenhua was not a luxurious person, so she just let them be. Now, she had fulfilled one of her wishes. However, just as they were discussing if they should hold a small ceremony, Qianqian called. "Qiqi, are you free? Can you accompany me somewhere? I don't know who to look for now. I'll be right there." Mu Qiqi hung up and called Sheng Xiao. But Sheng Xiao was in the middle of a business meeting, so he did not pick up the call. Mu Qiqi looked for Qianqian first. She helped her up. "Why do you look so haggard?" "Qiqi, I know where they are staying. Come with me." "Are you saying that you are going to look for Duan Xiao and Anbai Xinlan?" Qianqian nodded. "I called Xiao and in the afternoon and told him about the baby, but he did not say anything. I guess he is with that woman, so why must you meet him? There are some things that I will only give up after I hear it with my own ears." Qianqian answered Mu Qiqi seriously. "Come with me. Let's go." Mu Qiqi nodded, because she did not know what else she could do for Qianqian. Although Qianqian was still smiling and talking normally, Mu Qiqi knew that Qianqian did not have anything to support her now. The two of them took the car to the apartment that Qianqian had mentioned. She successfully found the house number that she had inquired about. "Is it here?" Qianqian nodded and rang the doorbell. After a while, Duan Xiaoan, who was wearing home clothes, opened the door. Bai Xinlan, who was also wearing pajamas, followed behind him. "Why are you here? You didn't tell me about the baby. Didn't I say that it's up to you?" Duan Xiaoan's attitude was cold. There was even impatience in his eyes. "You can have the baby if you want. Anyway, both our families can afford it. But let me be frank. I will not help you. Have you no pride? You can still be so calm when you see your fiancé with another woman. I am impressed." Bai Xinlan snorted unhappily. "You are almost like a teenage mutant ninja turtle now. Xiao, and you have promised me that you will not contact other women. It's not like you don't know how playful I am. Do you want me to hang on to you when I'm only 18 years old?" Duan Xiaoan laughed. "You are already an adult. Why are you still so naive?" Qianqian nodded with tears in her eyes. "Okay, go back and take care of yourself. My mother is looking forward to having a grandson." After that, Duan Xiaoan closed the door. He did not feel sorry or care for Qianqian at all. Mu Qiqi stood behind Qianqian. She almost lost control of her emotions. She was about to hit Qianqian when Qianqian stopped her. "Come with me to another place." "Qianqian." "Sure," Lu Qianqian said. Then she pulled Mu Qiqi and ran to the hospital. When they arrived at the hospital, she quickly told the doctor why she was here. "Arrange the surgery as soon as possible. I want to abort the baby." "Qianqian, it is late at night. You don't have to torture yourself like this. Is it worth it for that bastard? If you want the surgery, we should arrange the time and do it in the best hospital. You can't risk your health." Mu Qiqi held Qianqian's shoulder and said, "Qiqi, I feel terrible. I know you feel terrible. Since you have already met him, You should give Duan Xiao a hard slap. Make him regret it. Mu Qiqi left the hospital with Qianqian. I will send you home. Qianqian cried in Mu Qiqi's arms. But she had really given up. Of course, Mu Qiqi's lower limit was refreshed too. That man really could give Mu Tangxue a run for her money. He was worse than a pig or a dog. Just like how I treated Mu Tangxue. What is there for you to miss about Duan Xiaoan? But Duan Xiao, and knows about your relationship with the crown prince. Just because of this, Xiao Xiao said that he will deal with it. You just need to take care of yourself. Mu Qiqi said seriously. Promise me. Don't be silly, okay? Chapter 162. Why did they do this to me? What did I do wrong? Qianqian could not hold it in anymore. She cried in Mu Qiqi's arms. Why can they be so unscrupulous? Because Duan Xiao, and knows that you care about them. I don't care. I don't want to care anymore. Qianqian said hysterically. Qiqi, you are right. I am the eldest daughter of the Lu family. Why should I bow down to them? Since I have nothing left, what should I be afraid of? Mu Qiqi had never experienced what Qianqian was going through. Sheng Xiao was her first love, and Sheng Xiao doted on her. So, she could not understand how much pain Qianqian was going through. However, she knew very well that Duan Xiao and was a scumbag from the bottom of his heart. He was a complete piece of trash. Qianqian cried in Mu Qiqi's arms for a while. But soon, she felt that something was wrong. Maybe it was because she was too emotional that the child in her womb had a strong reaction. Qiqi, I think. What's wrong? Mu Qiqi saw that Qianqian was in pain. She made a prompt decision and sent her to the hospital. Then, she went to the emergency department as fast as she could. But the child was not saved. Mu Qiqi used Qianqian's phone to contact her parents. When they arrived at the hospital, they looked anxious and angry. You are Qiqi, right? Thank you for what you did today. Mama Lu was in tears. Auntie Qianqian will get through this. Mu Qiqi comforted her. We are friends with the Duan family. But I did not expect that they would treat my daughter like this. I will not let it go even if I die. I must make that child of the Duan family pay for what he did. Qianqian is fine. She just needs to be taken care of. You have been with her for a long time. Go back and rest, my good girl. Mama Lu said to Mu Qiqi gratefully. Mu Qiqi nodded. Soon, she came out of the hospital and found Sheng Zhao's car in the underground parking lot. But she did not say a word after she got into the car. After a while she sighed. Duan Xiao, and is not human at all. Xiao Xiao. I know everything. The Lu and Duan families might not have peace from now on. Fortunately, Lu Qianqian's family is richer than the Duan family. So as long as the Lu parents come forward, Lu Qianqian would not be at a disadvantage. It's reasonable for the Lu family to suppress the Duan family in business. Is the Lu family stronger? Sheng Xiao nodded as he drove. That's really lucky. I really want to see the Duan family go bankrupt. It was the first time he heard such a curse from Mu Qiqi's mouth, and he found it quite refreshing. Are you that angry? You didn't see how that shameless couple looked when they were together. Mu Qiqi was really angry. However, the scariest thing was that Qianqian's pregnancy and miscarriage were soon known by the people in the circle, and it was widely spread. The circle of nobles was only so small. Any jokes or scandals in the circle would, of course, be spread as gossip by the noble women. Of course, the Shen family had also heard about it. And the scariest thing they heard was that Mu Qiqi and Lu Qianqian were good friends. Since Lu Qianqian had done such a thing to ruin the reputation of the family, Mu Qiqi, as her friend, was certainly not a good person. When second aunt heard the rumor, she went home and complained to Grandpa Shen. Father, what kind of friends does your precious granddaughter have? She got pregnant at the age of 18, and now she has a miscarriage. Everyone is talking bad about the Shen family. Grandpa Shen stopped Huang Yu after listening to her complaints. I'm going to visit a comrade who's in a critical condition. You and Junhan should take care of the house. Don't cause any trouble. Just listen to the rumors. Father, I've never been so embarrassed outside. There's a first time for everything. Grandpa Shen packed his luggage and planned to leave for 2 days. He wanted to see his comrade for the last time before he left. Because he was in a hurry, he did not have time to discuss it with the Shin family or Muchichi. He only called Muchichi before he boarded the plane. Huang Yu saw Grandpa Shin leaving, but there was no news about Muchichi. She immediately looked for Rong Junhan. Eldest sister-in-law, have you heard about the rumors outside? Did father scold you again? Don't you know who father dotes on the most now? Do you want to be scolded by yourself? Rong Junhan sneered. Eldest sister-in-law, you don't know how embarrassed I was in front of those rich ladies. They even asked me if Muchichi was the eldest daughter of the Shin family. How could I answer them? Big brother's matter is already embarrassing enough. Everyone is laughing at Muchichi's family background. If she doesn't behave properly, will the Shin family be criticized by others wherever they go? It was obvious that Huang Yu was really angry. After all, anyone would get angry when they were embarrassed. Rong Junhan glanced at Grandpa Shin's study. Suddenly, she remembered that Grandpa Shin had left the house. Father will definitely protect Muchichi if he's here. Let's take this opportunity to teach Muchichi a lesson. After all, she is a Shin. She must follow the rules of the Shin family. As her stepmother, of course, I have the responsibility to educate her. Eldest sister-in-law, you should have done this earlier. Because it was not just about the Shin family. It was also about the image of the Shin family. So, Huang Yu hoped that Rong Junhan could teach Muchichi a lesson. With that idea in mind, Rong Junhan called Muchichi. Come to Shin Mansion after class tomorrow. Muchichi felt strange when she received the call. Of course, she knew that Grandpa Shin had left Jinshuan. So, she guessed that Rong Junhan must be up to no good when she called her. I'm sorry, Aunt Rong. I don't have the time. Muchichi rejected. I can't invite you, can I? Is it so difficult for you to come to our house for a meal? Muchichi looked at Sheng Xiao, who was beside her. Sheng Xiao said to her in a low voice, why not? Muchichi thought that he was right. Grandpa was not here, and the Shin family was not a dangerous place. Although she could not get along with Rong Junhan, there were still other people in the Shin family. So Muchichi changed her words. I will be there on time tomorrow night. It's good that you dared to come. Huang Yu finally calmed down after knowing the result. She would definitely cause trouble for Muchichi tomorrow. What about Muchichi? She looked at Sheng Xiao. I don't even know why Rong Junhan came to me. You asked me to come. Grandpa is not here. Am I not able to fight against them? Chapter 163. You said it. Don't go back on your word. Sheng Xiao pinched Muchichi's nose and deliberately stifled her. Of course I said it. But you should know why they are looking for you. You know, the news of your deskmate's miscarriage has been spread everywhere. The Shin family probably feels embarrassed. Sheng Xiao leaned against the balcony of his house and said to Muchichi, they are asking you to go back just to teach you a lesson and not to get too close to Lu Qianqian. The news of Qianqian's miscarriage has been spread? Muchichi quickly got up and looked at Sheng Xiao. The circle is only so big. It's easy to know about this kind of thing. Muchichi did not think about anything. She took out her phone and called Qianqian. Then Qianqian answered. Her voice was a little weak. Chichi, Qianqian, are you okay? I'm fine. I can get out of bed and walk now. Lu Qianqian answered Muchichi. But if you are asking me about my pregnancy before marriage and being laughed at by everyone, I can tell you that I am very sad. Qianqian, it's that bitch who spread the news. Lu Qianqian said to Muchichi coldly. There was even a hint of sadness in her voice. Now those rich ladies are laughing at me behind my back. I'm pregnant before marriage, shameless, and a broken shoe. Qianqian, don't worry. I won't let her get what she wants. Since the child is gone, this is the choice that God made for me. Lu Qianqian sounded like she was about to cry. I have thought about it very clearly last night. I love someone so much and think that I am not a hindrance to others. But in fact, I have hurt my parents. I have made them worry. I have made them unable to lift their heads in front of others. I am unfilial. From now on, I will not be so stupid. After listening to Qianqian's words, Muchichi was finally relieved. Qianqian, I have also experienced a lot of changes. I know how it feels. So let's do our best. From today onwards, those who bullied and mocked us will not dare to look us in the eye. Qianqian's words made Mu Qiqi feel better. Qiqi, I will do it. I believe you. Mu Qiqi nodded. I'm going to rest first. We'll talk later. After the call, Mu Qiqi felt relieved. She had the courage to go to the Shen family tomorrow. Rongjunan? Second aunt? What was there to be afraid of? Does it matter whether they admit it or not? Xiao Xiao, you must come and save me tomorrow. If they bully me, I'll definitely fight back. I'm afraid that I'll be at a disadvantage if there's more of them. After Sheng Xiao heard that, he put Mu Qiqi on his shoulder and walked into the bedroom. In this world, I'm the only one who can bully you. After saying that, he gave Mu Qiqi's round but a heavy slap. Qianqian hung up the phone so quickly because the Duan family had brought Duan Xiao into the hospital to visit Lu Qianqian. Duan Xiaoan was reluctant, but he had to obey his parents. You still have the cheek to come here? Mama Lu almost went up to them, but Papa Lu stopped her. Don't be rash. Madam, I'm really sorry about what happened to Qianqian. So I've asked Xiao and to come and apologize to Qianqian. The Duan family knew that they were in the wrong, so they wanted to appease Mama Lu. But at that moment Lu Qianqian, who was lying on the bed, suddenly said, "Cancel the marriage." Everyone looked at Lu Qianqian, including Duan Xiaoan, because this woman had always been following him. No matter how hard he tried to drive her away, she never changed. But now, she said that she wanted to cancel the marriage? Could it be that she was trying to buy time? No need. I'll marry you if you get what you want. But I don't want to marry you anymore. Lu Qianqian shouted. Her voice was trembling. You should marry Bai Xinlan. Are you serious? Don't regret it. The Duan family should regret it. All these years, my mother has taken care of the Duan family because I like you. But from now on, there will be nothing. Lu Qianqian pretended to be tough, because she could not stand it anymore. Her mother had cried beside her bed the whole night. Qianqian, don't be angry. Xiaoan said those words out of anger. I promise you. Auntie, you don't have to promise me. Yesterday, I was pregnant with your Duan family's child, and went to look for him. But he lived with another woman. Do you really think I'm a slut? Lu Qianqian stubbornly held back her tears, and said to Mother Duan. Xiaoan, is what Qianqian said true? Yes. Before Duan Xiao and could finish his words, Mama Duan slapped him. Bastard. Qianqian is such a good girl. She has liked you for so many years. How can you let her down like this? I am only 18 years old. I will be tied to her forever. If it were you, would you be willing? You don't have to be. From now on, we are only enemies. We have nothing else to do with each other. Lu Qianqian said through gritted teeth. That's great. I can continue to live my life happily. Get lost. Lu Qianqian picked up the bowl of medicine on the bedside table and threw it at Duan Xiaoan. Duan Xiao, and when we are no longer related, I will not indulge that mistress anymore. You have to believe that with the Lu family's ability, I can make her suffer. Don't you dare. Of course I dare. In order not to aggravate the conflict between the two, Mama Duan dragged Duan Xiao and out of the ward. At this time, Lu Qianqian was trembling. She was extremely emotional. Qianqian, don't be angry. Listen to me. Don't be angry. Dad, Mom, from now on, you can do whatever you want to the Duan family. You don't have to consider my feelings. Lu Qianqian grabbed her mother's shoulder and said, I want those who bullied me to pay the price. Qianqian, it's good that you understand. Papa Lu was relieved. Don't worry. That scumbag bullied my daughter. I will make the Duan family disappear from Jianchuan. Lu Qianqian nodded. She would not stay idle. Since that bitch Bai dared to steal her man, she would wait and see. This scene happened in the ward. When Mu Qiqi found out about it, she felt extremely happy. In the middle of the night, the two of them were still talking on the phone. They seemed to be chatting happily. Qianqian, you should slap that scumbag's face like this. Hit the left side and hit the right side. Chapter 164. What you said is very reasonable. Let's use the spirit of dealing with scumbags and sluts. We will defeat all those who look down on us. Sheng Xiao, who was lying beside Mu Qiqi, was woken up by her bold words. He sat up drowsily and held her in his arms. He stroked her messy hair. Don't be so long-winded. Go to sleep. Mu Qiqi was afraid that she would agitate Qianqian, so she covered her phone. After a while they hung up. Mu Qiqi raised her head and looked at Sheng Xiao carefully. Sheng Xiao's hair and singlet were messy in his sleep, but it added a touch of sexiness to him. Mu Qiqi stretched out her finger to touch his lips, but Sheng Xiao grabbed her hand. Are you going to sleep? Or do you want to do something else? Mu Qiqi was so scared that she quickly closed her eyes. This man loved to tease her so much. The next day, Mu Qiqi went to school as usual. But she also saw Bai Xinlan in school. Now that Qianqian said that she wanted to cancel the engagement with the scumbag, they should be even more reckless. Sure enough, during lunch, Mu Qiqi saw Duan Xiao, and at the basketball court of Shengting University. Bai Xinlan was standing beside him, wiping his sweat and handing him water. Qianqian had sacrificed so many years of her youth for a man who played with her feelings. Mu Qiqi felt disgusted just thinking about it. Everyone said that every girl should meet a few scumbags, because that was the only way to grow and mature. But in this world, there were also men who did not play with their feelings. They respected women and valued their feelings. So Mu Qiqi felt that this saying was not entirely true. Mu Qiqi felt uncomfortable when she thought about Qianqian lying in the hospital while the scumbag and the slut were flirting with each other. But she knew that Qianqian would not let her wait for too long. Bai Xinlan saw Mu Qiqi passing by the basketball court when she was talking to Duan Xiaoan. So she immediately put down her towel and chased after her. Mu Qiqi, did you see that? Even rich ladies like you will lose to us commoners one day. Of course, rich ladies like us will lose to commoners like you. After all, it is the most basic thing. We want our reputation but you don't. Mu Qiqi said without turning her head. Am I more shameless than that woman who got pregnant before marriage? Bai Xinlan chased after her and blocked her way. You knew that she was engaged and pregnant, yet you still interfered. Don't you think you're already the most shameless person in the world? Mu Qiqi asked with a smile. You don't have to show off in front of me just because you have the upper hand. Listen, my time is different from yours. You spend your time seducing men and posing on the bed every day. That's your life. But we still need to play the piano, attend parties, go shopping and buy diamonds. Can Duan Xiao and give you those? Bai Xinlan could not refute Mu Qiqi at all. Isn't she still going to lose to men even though she's rich? Bai Xinlan, listen carefully. I am giving you a piece of advice. Since you managed to get into Shengting University, it means that you are not bad. You should know the relationship between the Duan family and the Lu family. The Duan family has been relying on the Lu family for so many years. Do you think that without the Lu family, Duan Xiao and is still the young master? After saying that, Mu Qiqi pushed Bai Xinlan away and walked past her. Bai Xinlan was so angry that her chest hurt. She seemed to have no choice but to shout at Mu Qiqi. You are not easy to deal with either, are you? Even the crown prince fell in love with you. But do you think that you can marry into the Sheng family? I'm not sure if I can marry into the Sheng family, but I am sure that I can make you disappear from Jianchuan. Do you want to try? Of course, Bai Xinlan did not dare to do that. She dared to attack Qianqian because Duan Xiao and was a fool. But who dared to provoke Sheng Xiao? He was like a devil. He was moody. Who dared to provoke him? Just you wait. Very soon, the crown prince will dump you. Mu Qiqi did not even turn her head. She was amused. There was a reason why a scumbag and a bitch were attracted to each other. After all, birds of a feather flock together. Did Bai Xinlan think that she could provoke Mu Qiqi? She was completely wrong. Mu Qiqi did not even mention this couple in front of Qianqian. Who was she? Bai Xinlan could only go back to Duan Xiaoan. That Mu Qiqi is also a bitch. Don't provoke her. Duan Xiaoan warned her sternly. Otherwise, no one can save you. Of course, Bai Xinlan knew how scary Sheng Xiao was. But she was not willing to give up. She was waiting for the day when Sheng Xiao dumped Mu Qiqi. She would laugh to her heart's content. But she might not be able to wait for that day. She would only wait for Qianqian's revenge. Qianqian thought about it for the whole night and the whole morning. Although her body was fine now, the wound in her heart was still there. So, Qianqian called Mu Qiqi in the afternoon and told her that she was going to Shengting University. Are you feeling better now? It's not a big deal. Don't worry. Let me vent my anger first. Then I will feel better. Okay. She is in class 4 of the finance faculty. After getting the information from Mu Qiqi, Lu Qianqian went to Shengting University with 4 bodyguards. She waited at the entrance of Bai Xinlan's classroom. When Bai Xinlan finished her class, Lu Qianqian went up to her and shouted, "Bai Xinlan!" Bai Xinlan turned around. Before she could see who it was, Lu Qianqian gave her a slap. Everyone present was dumbfounded. Because they were at the entrance of the classroom, there were many people who saw the scene. But Lu Qianqian was not afraid. She pointed at Bai Xinlan and said, "Don't steal someone else's fiancé next time. I will give Duan Xiaoan to you." Bai Xinlan did not expect that Lu Qianqian would come to the university, and in front of so many people. Let your classmates take a good look at him. Remember, if they are in the same faculty as you, they must take good care of their boyfriend. Otherwise, one day, he will become your boyfriend. After saying that, Lu Qianqian put on her sunglasses and raised her chin. Then, she left Shengting University with her bodyguards. At this moment, how could Bai Xinlan feel? Shame and anger were not enough to describe her expression. I heard that her handsome boyfriend is engaged. But you don't believe me. His wife has come to the university. Amazing. A bitch who steals someone else's boyfriend will die a horrible death. That is the young lady of the Lu family. She deserves to offend a rich man. Bai Xinlan could not bear the humiliation. She quickly left the classroom. She did not expect that Lu Qianqian would be serious. She thought that Duan Xiao and was a pushover because he did not say anything to Lu Qianqian. She did not expect that a vengeful woman could be so scary. Chapter 165. Qianqian had taken the first step. Now it was her turn to take the first step. Although they were facing different situations, there was no difference between the scumbags. They were all trash. Mu Qiqi was looking forward to what would happen when she returned to the Shin family tonight. Soon, Mu Qiqi finished her last class and left the school. When they got out of the school, she found Sheng Xiao's car and got on it excitedly. Then, she told Sheng Xiao about Qianqian's visit to the school. This is how Qianqian used to be. She did not ruin herself for a scumbag. Grandpa is at the Sheng family. Mu Qiqi did not understand what Sheng Xiao meant. Your grandpa is having tea at the Sheng family. He went back to Jianchuan early in the morning. But, he did not rush home after he knew that Rong Junhan asked you to go to the Shin family. Sheng Xiao explained. This is going to be a good show. Are you suspecting that my grandpa purposely found an excuse to visit his sick patient? But he was actually testing Rong Junhan to see if she would cause trouble for me? It's true that he visited his sick patient. It's also true that he is testing her. Sheng Xiao smiled. It's going to be fun. Then I am looking forward to it. Mu Qiqi hugged Sheng Xiao's arm and kissed him on the cheek. Let's go for dinner first. I will have the strength to argue with those people later. Sheng Xiao lowered his head and kissed her head. Then, they went back to the small mansion and had a good dinner. Before they left, Su Zipei reminded Mu Qiqi. But don't go too far. Don't be too ugly. Aunt Rong Junhan is hiding Mu Tongxue. Who asked you to be so polite to her? Aren't there other people in the Shin family? Mu Qiqi was amused by Su Zipei's words. Don't worry. I know what to do. Then Mu Qiqi got into Sheng Xiao's car. But she noticed that there was one more person in the car. Sheng Xiao had moved from the front seat to the back seat. Let Jingyin drive. We don't want to be photographed. You will be photographed even if you sit in the back seat. Just tell me if you are worried. Sheng Xiao glanced at her and closed his eyes. Stop nagging. Mu Qiqi did not expose him anymore. After all, Sheng Xiao had many such excuses in the past. But, it was all because he was worried about her. For example, when the sports car entered the garage. She was still impressed. After you go in, be careful. If you're bullied, call me immediately. I know. Mu Qiqi nodded. With such a heartwarming lover, what was there for her to be afraid of? Soon, the car arrived at the Shin family's compound. Mu Qiqi got off the car at the iron gate and asked Jing Yun to accompany Sheng Xiao. Still, when Mu Qiqi got out of the car, Jing Yun turned to Sheng Xiao and said, "Young master, the matter has been investigated." Perhaps Mu Qiqi did not notice that Jing Yun's return meant that the investigation of Shen Jianchuan's second injury was almost completed. She was not in the mood to ask about it, but Sheng Xiao simply sat up and looked at Jing Yun. "What's your conclusion?" "The old headmaster is already dead, so I thought that the clue was cut off." However, the old headmaster's daughter-in-law was also involved in the matter. According to her, she saw a woman looking for the old headmaster, but her surname wasn't wrong. Names can be made up. We'll talk about it later tonight. Sheng Xiao knew that this matter would not go smoothly. After all, it had been a long time. Rong Junhan had plenty of time to think about it. Even if there were loopholes in the case, she should have fixed most of them after all these years. But as long as it was done by someone, there would be evidence. So, he would continue to investigate. When Mu Qiqi entered the Shen family, the Shens seemed to have been waiting for her for a long time. They were all sitting on the sofa. Third uncle and third aunt were sitting on the left, and second uncle and aunt were sitting on the right. Rong Junhan was sitting on the main seat. Was it a joint hearing? Only youngest aunt was not here. "Qiqi, have you eaten?" Rong Junhan asked Mu Qiqi calmly when she saw her entering the living room. "Yes, I have. We did not eat, because we were waiting for you." Rong Junhan suppressed her anger and said to her, "This house is full of elders waiting for you. Shouldn't you apologize when you come in?" "Apologize?" Mu Qiqi was stunned. She pretended to be innocent. "First of all, Aunt Rong, you called me to come home for dinner, but you did not tell me the time. Moreover, I still have homework and experiments to do. It's just that I came late. You are an elder. Do you have to make things difficult for me? Don't tell me that everyone is starving just to teach me a lesson." "Mu Qiqi." Rong Junhan was furious. "We don't care how you behave in the Mu family. We don't care if you have no manners or rules. But now, you are in the Shen family. You must abide by the rules in the Shen family. You made everyone embarrassed when you appeared. Your elders are gossiping about you. Don't you need to be taught a lesson?" "How did I let you be gossiped about?" Mu Qiqi could not help but ask. "You still have the cheek to ask." Rong Junhan slammed the glass table in front of her. "You are so close to the Lu family's daughter, who got pregnant out of wedlock. People are saying that you are not clean." "They are engaged," Mu Qiqi said. "What do you mean by not clean? This matter has humiliated the Shen family. And you are still so arrogant. You don't respect your elders at all. You are so stubborn." Then, Rong Junhan pointed at Mu Qiqi and shouted, "Kneel down. Grandpa is not here and you are acting like the head of the family." Mu Qiqi sneered. "Why? Eldest sister and eldest brother's wedding is going to be held soon. Are you still not happy?" Huang Yu was sitting at the side. She rolled her eyes and asked Mu Qiqi, "They are not married yet. Isn't it too early to talk about being the head of the family?" Mu Qiqi was not the same as before. She used to watch gangster movies to learn how to use a tone to fight back. Now she could handle such a situation, because Sheng Xiao had given her enough confidence. Rong Junhan was prepared when she saw Mu Qiqi was not obedient. She gestured to the two men she invited to the front. They wanted to force Mu Qiqi to kneel down, but Mu Qiqi noticed them. She turned around and pointed at the two men. "We are talking about human rights now. If you dare to do anything, I will definitely sue you in court. Don't listen to her nonsense. She is just a child." The two men did not listen to Mu Qiqi. They stretched out their hands and held her down. But Mu Qiqi did not kneel down. "Qiqi, I'm doing this for your own good. After all, the Shen family is not a place where you can mess around. It's not easy for the elders to handle things. So I don't care if you're willing to accept it or not. You'll have to be punished." Rong Junhan said to Mu Qiqi in a righteous manner. "You make it sound nice, but you are just venting your anger. What era are we in now? There is punishment." Mu Qiqi sneered. "Grandpa should be at the door now." Chapter 166. What are you waiting for? Ask her to kneel down. The two men held Mu Chi-Chi and wanted to force her to kneel down. But Grandpa Shun, who was standing at the door, could not stand it anymore. He walked out. Stop! Everyone was stunned when they heard Grandpa Shun's voice. They took a deep breath and stood up from the sofa. Grandpa Shun walked out from behind the screen and looked at everyone in the living room. Then he walked to Rong Junhan. Before she could say anything, Grandpa Shun slapped her. Who do you think you are? How dare you show off in front of us? Father! Father! Second brother and Huang Yu were shocked. That's eldest sister-in-law. The Shun family is indebted to her. She is your benefactor. But what benefactor to me? Take care of my eldest son for me? He is her fiancé. Did Grandpa Shun force her? Even if she is our benefactor, Jianchuan should be the one to return the favor. How can she behave like this in front of us? Is she married into our family? Second elder and Huang Yu were speechless. After I die, will the Shun family change their surname to Rong? Father, calm down. Eldest sister asked Mu Chi-Chi to come here just to tell her the rules of the Shun family. Third aunt added fuel to the fire. But she just said a few words, and she already asked her to kneel down. I don't understand it. But I don't dare to say anything. Grandpa Shun was so dignified that no one dared to say anything. Especially Rong Junhan, who was slapped. She stood at the side, and her lips were trembling. She was angry and scared at the same time. When I arrived at Jianchuan this morning, I heard that you were in a hurry to find Mu Chi-Chi. You just wanted to bully her when I was not around. So I purposely went to the Shun family for morning tea. I wanted to see if you, as the elders of the Shun family, have any sense of shame in your heart. I've been listening at the door for a long time. 5 adults and 2 thugs bullying an 18-year-old girl. You. Good job. Grandpa Shun was so angry that he laughed. Is this the good son I taught? I can't believe it. Father, you can't say it like that. It's a fact that Mu Chi-Chi and Lu Qianqian are too close to each other. It's a disgrace to the Shun family. Who do you think you are? How dare you talk back to me? Because of Huang Yu's words, Grandpa Shun's anger exploded even more. Your father is a murderer. Why aren't you a murderer? You haven't learned anything, but you've learned to be strict with others and lenient to yourself? When you entered the Shun family and caused a rumor, did I ever find trouble with you? Huang Yu was stunned by the old master's words and didn't dare to speak anymore. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she almost cried. Don't pretend to be innocent in front of me. If you want to bully Chi-Chi, wait until I can't move my old bones anymore. Then you can try to ride on my head. Mu Tongxue was really despicable in the past. But she was right about one thing. You worship Rong Junhan like a god. But to me she's an outsider. I'm warning you, second brother and second daughter-in-law. If you still can't tell right from wrong, and try to sow discord in the family, get out of here. I don't want ungrateful people. As for third brother and you, third daughter-in-law, behave yourself. If you want to get involved in this kind of thing again, get out of here. Grandpa Shun was serious. He was furious. So the 2 Shun brothers knelt down immediately. Huang Yu did not move. Third daughter-in-law was shocked too. She knelt down immediately. This is my territory. Can't I control my people? Father, I've been in the Shun family for so many years. How much have I done for the Shun family? Rong Junhan was heartbroken. You did it for the Shun family? Your brother caused trouble in the past and got one of his legs broken. He was locked up in the detention center. Who helped him get out? The Rong family almost went bankrupt 3 times. Who helped you get through that? Who was the one who got the land to build your dance school? Do you dare to say that you didn't get anything from the Shun family? Rong Junhan was stunned. How would Grandpa Shun know about this? It was second elder Shun who had helped him with all these things. Is there anything that I don't know about in this family? I was wondering why second brother and second sister had helped eldest brother to repay eldest brother's kindness for taking care of him all these years. Third daughter-in-law sneered. Shut up, all of you. I've already said the ugly words. When Mu Chi-Chi comes to the Shun family in the future, you must be polite. If you bully her again, you don't need to call me your father anymore. Just call Rong Junhan your sister-in-law. His words were harsh enough, and Grandpa Shun did not want to see his children's faces at all. He waved at Chi-Chi. Xiaoqi, come with Grandpa. After Mu Qiqi got rid of the two men, she walked to Grandpa Shun and held him. Grandpa, come with me to the study. I'm sick of looking at these people. Grandpa Shun brought Mu Qiqi away. It was a warning to the Shun family, especially third daughter-in-law. She said to Huang Yu and Rong Junhan after Grandpa Shun left. We wanted to capture eldest brother's daughter and humiliate her when father was not around. But we didn't expect that father played us. He made you fall into his trap. We didn't come for nothing. Otherwise we would have missed a good show. Then third brother and third daughter-in-law went back to their room. Only Huang Yu helped Rong Junan up. Eldest sister, don't be sad. Don't take father's words to heart. I'm fine. But you, father, said something so cruel. You must forgive him. Otherwise I will be a sinner. Rong Junhan was referring to Grandpa Shen, saying that Huang Yu's father was a murderer. Huang Yu shook her head. Although she was shocked at that moment, she still reflected on herself after that. It seemed that it was too much to ask of Mu Qiqi. It's fine. Let Mu Qiqi go for now. There will be more chances in the future. She won't be so lucky next time. I don't believe that Grandpa Shen can protect her at any time. After entering the study, Grandpa Shen sat on the chair alone. He was sulking. Mu Qiqi walked to Grandpa Shen and said helplessly, I wouldn't have come if I knew that you would be so angry. Grandpa, I know that you are drinking tea at Sheng Mansion. Of course I know that you know. Sheng Xiao told you, said Grandpa Shen. The old man replied, Silly girl. You knew that you would be wronged if I tested them, yet you still dared to come here alone. If I didn't come, I wouldn't be able to vent my anger. How uncomfortable would it be? Mu Qiqi smiled. Moreover, I'm fine. You heard it just now. I didn't let them take advantage of me. Chapter 167. Then why are you so protective of me? Speaking of this, Grandpa Shen looked at Mu Qiqi and thought of Shen Jianxuan. I believe in you because you have been through so many hardships, but you still insist on being yourself. This state of mind is commendable. You and eldest brother are both my good children. In the future, you should come to the Shen family. This is also your home. With Grandpa Shen around, they will not dare to do anything to you. Mu Qiqi nodded and held Grandpa Shen's hand. Don't be angry. How can you protect me if you hurt your health? And Grandpa, you and Dad should be careful. I know what you are worried about. Little girl, you are thinking too much. Grandpa Shen smiled happily. He felt that it was worth it to be angry just now. It was because Mu Qiqi knew that Shen Jianxuan had been hurt twice. And the person who bumped into her father might be Rong Junhan. Grandpa Shen made Rong Junhan suffer in the Shen family today. Maybe she was going to do the same thing again for some reason. Mu Qiqi did not dare to take the risk. You are tired. You should rest now. I will leave after you rest. Forget it. You should go back. Jing Yin is still waiting for you outside. Speaking of which, this Sheng Xiao is really a good friend. Old Master Shen patted Mu Qiqi's hand and said, I'm still healthy now. Don't be afraid. Mu Qiqi and Grandpa Shen looked at each other and nodded. All right. I will go home now. Grandpa Shen blinked. He was no longer as fierce as he was just now. He had become a kind old man again. Other than her aunt, this was the second family member who could treat her sincerely. Mu Qiqi only hoped that Grandpa Shen could live a long life. After that, Mu Qiqi left the Shen family. Maybe it was because of Grandpa Shen's scolding. So the Shuns did not deliberately make things difficult for her anymore. Although they still looked at her with disgust. Mu Qiqi left the Shen family's courtyard and got into the car parked outside. But Jing Yin was no longer there. Sheng Xiao had taken his place. I could feel the intensity in the hall even when I was outside. Grandpa came back just in time. I'm not hurt, Mu Qiqi replied. Of course. He arrived not long after you went in. The old fox was watching the show at the door. So there's nothing for me to do. Sheng Xiao patted Mu Qiqi's head. I'll feel more secure with more people protecting you. Xiao Xiao. But in terms of words I might suffer a little. How about it? Do you regret that I let you return to the Shen family? Mu Qiqi quickly shook her head. You don't know how grateful I am. In the past I had a father and a grandfather, but I felt like I had nothing. Now that I've regained what I lost, And it's with sincerity. I suddenly feel that I'm the happiest person in the world, especially, I have you. Seeing the passion in her eyes, Sheng Xiao pinched her chin and smiled. Little one, your mouth is getting sweeter. I'm just worried about the safety of Dad and Grandpa. Your grandfather is a veteran. What can escape his eyes? Sheng Xiao snorted. Then he started the car and drove Muqiqi home. On the way back, Sheng Xiao thought of Jing Yun's investigation. Jing Yun found out about the old dean. But it's a pity that he has passed away. And his daughter is involved in it. But, she told Jing Yun that the woman who bumped into your father is called Tong Shui, not Rong Junhan. I suspect that it's a fake name. But we need evidence. Let's see if Rong Junhan has used the name Tong Shui for anything else. Muqiqi looked at Sheng Xiao. She felt that this man was really meticulous. He could even be a policeman. Xiao Xiao, thank you so much, Special Assistant. Why? Are you worried? Yes, I'm worried. Who asked him to be your special assistant? Sheng Xiao glanced at her and snorted. Then he stopped talking. But when should we tell Grandpa about this? If this is really Rong Junhan's doing, then we can't imagine how deep this woman's bottom line is. She might do anything. I will ask Jing Yun to find all the evidence before the wedding. Muqiqi trusted Sheng Xiao. So, she trusted Jing Yun too. But that night, Rong Junhan was furious after she was slapped by Grandpa Shen. She used to have a good relationship with the Shen family. But because of Muqiqi's appearance, everything changed. Then she thought of Mu Tongxue. So she went to the dance school to look for her. Mu Tongxue was hidden by Rong Junhan. She was asked to imitate Muqiqi. And she must look exactly like Muqiqi. And recently, Rong Junhan even brought her to get a mole for a tattoo. Actually, Mu Tongxue did not want herself to be like Muqiqi. She was not Muqiqi's shadow. But she had to obey Rong Junhan for her own survival. Otherwise, there would be no place for her in this big world. They probably thought that the tattoo on Muqiqi's ear was done randomly. But they did not know that it was Sheng Xiao's name. When you are ready, I will bring you to Shen Jianchuan. He is the first obstacle you have to pass. Shen Jianchuan had just woken up. Moreover, he had been sleeping for so many years. His brain should not be working so well. It should not be difficult to fool him. But in fact, she did not know how smart Shen Jianchuan was. The next day, Muqiqi called Qianqian early in the morning. Because Qianqian was worried about the result of her going to the Shen family. She did not want Muqiqi to be bullied. But after listening to Muqiqi's exciting part, she felt very happy. That Rong guy is really arrogant. But then again, Qiqi, I have nothing to say about Grandpa Shen's treatment of you. It can be said that he has made up for the lack of familial love that you have lacked in the past 10 years. How are you now? You have vented your anger yesterday. What's next? I have taught the scumbag a lesson. Now it's the scumbag's turn, said Lu Qianqian. No, it should be the whole Duan family. Think about it. Duan Xiaoan and I have been together for so many years. How can his parents not know about it? But they have never disciplined Duan Xiaoan. Don't they have any responsibility? They only know how to ask my parents for help every day. They use Duan Xiaoan as a bargaining chip. Now that bargaining chip is worthless to me. Let's see if the Duan family will panic or not. No matter what happened in the past, it will be the result now. The Duan family will definitely come and beg you, said Muqiqi. Wasn't that what a rich family was like? It was always about benefits. Chapter 168. Muqiqi was right. The Duan family was shocked when they found out about Lu Qianqian's attitude. Qianqian had always tolerated her son's misdeeds outside. So, they thought that Lu Qianqian was just throwing a tantrum this time. Who knew that the Lu family's lawyer would soon come and terminate all cooperation? When Papa Duan knew about it, he scolded Duan Xiao and asked Mama Duan to bring Duan Xiao and to the Lu family to apologize. So mother and son arrived at the Lu family early in the morning. Qianqian, that mother and son have been waiting downstairs for almost 2 hours. Are you really not going to go down and meet them? Mama Lu crossed her arms and watched Lu Qianqian dress up in her room. I used to follow Duan Xiaoan like a dog. What's wrong with asking him to wait now? Lu Qianqian said nonchalantly. If you don't want them to wait, just say that I'm not here. Mama Lu patted Lu Qianqian's shoulder. My daughter has really grown up. Mommy, don't worry. Lu Qianqian turned around and held Mama Lu's hand. I won't let you worry anymore. Since they are not important, let's not meet them. What's the big deal? Having said that, Mama Lu went downstairs and returned to the living room. She said to Mama Duan, I'm sorry, Mrs. Duan. I went upstairs to call Qianqian again just now and realized that she was not at home. It's my fault for making you wait for so long. I'm sorry. Please go back. In fact, everyone knew that Lu Qianqian was at home, but she refused to come down. In-laws. Mrs. Duan, since Qianqian and Duan Xiaoan have broken off their engagement, there is no such thing as in-laws. Mama Lu corrected Mama Duan. This is a big thing in life. How can it be broken off just like that? Mama Lu's eyes changed color when she heard that. In the Lu family, she was more arrogant than Papa Lu. In the past, she tolerated her daughter because she liked her daughter. Now that her daughter did not like her, how could she spoil her? We won't talk about all the affairs your son has had outside. I've told Qianqian many times before. Why do you want such a man? She was very persistent. All right, I'll wait and see. I didn't expect your son to be even more powerful. He's engaged to my Qianqian, and he's living with another woman. He even caused my daughter to have a miscarriage. If I had given birth to this beast, I would have kicked it to death. Trash. What's the point of living in this world? Qianqian used to give in to him, didn't she? Your whole family thinks that the Lu family owes you, right? Now my daughter doesn't like him anymore. I'll get someone to buy firecrackers and set them up at the door. Mama Lu's words certainly did not spare the other party any face. What was the point of sparing him? Mama Duan's expression was unusually ugly, but she had to endure it. Mrs. Lu, please let me see Qianqian. Perhaps she will change her mind? Mama Lu sneered and nodded. I told you she's out. Since you want to see her, keep waiting. I have other things to do, so I won't keep you company. She's just a used shoe. She cancelled the engagement with me. Who else would want her? Duan Xiaoan muttered to himself. But in fact, it represented the Duan family's thoughts. Qianqian's miscarriage had become a big deal. Everyone in the circle knew about it. How could Qianqian get married? But Qianqian did not want to see them. So, the Duan family and Mama Duan waited in the Lu family's house for the whole day with an empty stomach until Papa Lu came home at night. Finally, at dinner time, Lu Qianqian came downstairs. When Duan Xiaoan saw her, he went up to her and said, Do you know you've made me and my mother wait for the whole day? Did I beg you to wait? Lu Qianqian chuckled. Lu Qianqian, that's enough. Lu Qianqian shook off Duan Xiao and pushed him away. Who's messing with you? Our engagement has been cancelled. Why are you still here in the Lu family? Don't tell me you really think that I won't marry anyone but you? Yes, I did have a miscarriage. Everyone in the circle is laughing at me. But so what? At most, I won't get married. I'm the daughter of a rich family. I eat well and play well. Why must I need a man? After saying that, Lu Qianqian looked at Papa Lu and said, Dad, hurry up and cut ties with the Duan family. I don't want to see anyone from the Duan family. My dear daughter, I have asked the lawyers to handle it. In 3 days, the Duan family will be declared bankrupt. Papa Lu took off his coat and said to Lu Qianqian, Can't it be faster? Lu Qianqian walked to Papa Lu and said coquettishly, Is that so? Then I will make a few more calls later and send more lawyers. Papa Lu hugged Lu Qianqian and said, Why can't my daughter get married? Mama Duan and Duan Xiao. Anne's expressions were very interesting. The Duan family bullied you. I won't let them get away with it. Don't worry. Lu Qianqian tilted her head and looked at Duan Xiaoan. Did you hear that? Do you really think that the Duan family will lose without you? I don't think so. I will. Mama Duan and Duan Xiao, and did not expect that they would be snubbed by the Lu family. So they left the Lu family dejectedly. Lu Qianqian watched them leave and snorted coldly. Dad, do you think we can make the Duan family go bankrupt? Duan Xiaoan's father is not made for business. If it were not for the Lu family's support, the family would have gone bankrupt long ago. What do you think? Papa Lu patted Lu Qianqian's head. My dear daughter, I am afraid that you won't be able to do it. Dad, it's time to throw away the old things. That's good. Just wait and see. What about Mama Duan and Duan Shaoan? When they got home they complained. Lu Qianqian, that bitch, has been hiding all day. Not only that, she even humiliated me and Mom. So, what did you do when I asked you to sue for peace? Papa Duan slapped Duan Xiao, and when he heard what he said, if it were not for you, would Qianqian hate you so much? Would the Lu family take revenge on the Duan family like this? Dad, just wait and see. Based on the Lu family's speed, they will withdraw all the money they invested in the Duan family in a few days. Really? Is there no way to save it? Mama Duan did not want to stick her warm face to the Lu family's cold buttocks. The Lu family has tried their best all these years, Papa Duan said. Then he looked at Duan Shaoan fiercely. In order to deal with the bankruptcy, Shaoan's villa, sports car, and everything valuable will be confiscated. Dad, that you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.